This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
I have no sound. I didn't know we were starting. I was talking about old Chiefs teams. Sorry, my bad. Here we go. We're back. Now we're back.
About the good old
We're back.
days.
I got you, Dust. it was from last year we were talking about. What up, KW?
He was looking back wistfully.
On
Man,
the
it was
ropes.
What a
Who's
run
on the
it
ropes?
You just did a long soliloquy. You didn't even recognize that Brew was in like nod mode.
Brew asked me a question.
Brew was in
up.
nod mode. Brew does not like to talk 2 minutes before the show. He was like,
This is
and you kept on going. He's like,
This is what I said before the show.
You're just on
What
the
I
ropes,
said
though.
before the show was accurate.
You're
Which is,
absolutely
I
right,
have my goal of the next 3 days is to repair our relationship, you and me, KW. We're good.
No.
Brew. He's mad at me. I don't know why. He's like my wife. I know you're mad. You keep saying you're not mad. Just tell me why you're mad, because we're about to be out in public in Kansas City together, and we need to present.
All right, I don't want to be weird. I'm not mad.
See?
The Chiefs are just 0-1, and your emotions are scrambled.
You're seeing anger everywhere.
It's like this
Your
guy's
wife,
mad.
wild.
That's not what it is. It's just that the Chiefs are 0-1. That's it.
Can I tell you something?
That's what it is.
I think you're right.
Yeah, first hour of First Things First. Today, Caleb struggles. Ben Johnson debut party turned into J.J. McCarthy's coming out party. What does this mean for both teams moving forward? Meanwhile, it's getting late early in San Francisco. Kittle on IR, Purdy hurt, Juwan Jennings hurt, Jake Moody released, Mac Jones warming up. Maybe all bad signs there.
Do they have team doctors?
That's my take.
I'm gonna leave it there. You can expound, but I'm just saying.
We discussed it. Brew stressed out about it. And finally, after a wild week 1 for all the quarterbacks in the NFL, who climbed, who fell off, and the debut. And Brew, you are not gonna like this.
What?
They're not just doing housework around here. AI came for the Mahomes Mountain intro.
Oh wow,
Wait, really?
robots?
Yes, not robots, but it was just.
It's the same thing. AI, robots. It's all technology without human beings.
And they're coming.
Yeah.
We're using it on the show.
Yeah.
Yes,
You didn't clear it with Brew? That's under his
I was
purview.
too scared.
You're the creative. I'm the takes. Brew's the ethics.
I was.
Like Brew is in charge of that
I was
journalistically.
nervous about
All right,
asking.
it could be grand opening, grand closing. We'll see.
We'll see. All right, that's a 3-minute intro.
It was great.
We start with the Bears. Caleb was 10 for 10. He's like, man, this is really working. Chicago was rolling, and then the wheels came off. 2 touchdowns, 210 yards overall. But he only completed 44% of the rest of his passes. That's not good. Here he was after the game.
I think there was a lot of good there. Our communication, I think he was getting the plays in, fast, and been able to get out the huddle. We need to be better with that, and I've been able to get up to the line, make checks, or whatever the case may be. But I think it's a growing process that it's going to keep growing from here. This is the start, but definitely not the end.
Okay, do you feel better or worse about Caleb and the Bears?
All right, can I tell you guys something?
Oh wow.
Here we go. Man, you are just on tilt, dude.
I'm not on tilt.
2 straight days.
I just have to tell you guys something.
Okay.
So I don't live tweet Chiefs games, but I live tweet basically any other standalone game. I'm usually live tweeting. And I'm known to be, a little bit of a smart aleck, particularly if some of my takes look like they're going to prove correct.
You?
And something struck me as concerning, because in the midst of Caleb starting 10 for 10, I didn't want to tweet, because watching it, I was like, I don't think this is going to keep up. You agree,
exactly
Brew?
where I was with the Ravens.
With the Ravens.
Seriously, with the Bills. I was like,
because even with that start, some of it was so hard. Like he had to twice do kind of magical things to get a dump off.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like they do spin around and escape to end up checking down. And so the answer to the question is I feel much worse. And it started with the Tyler Dunn article on his website over the weekend, which talked about the dysfunction of last year, the personality, work ethic, or other potential issues that might prevent Caleb from reaching his full potential. Then during this game, it was so bad pre-snap. And Coach Mangini might emphasize that, but he did call someone into motion with 3 seconds on the play clock. Right. They were getting out of the huddle late. The penalties, which we can show you, there were a bunch of penalties. They're not all on Caleb. The pre-snap ones are not even all on Caleb because it's false start, you know what I mean? Right. But some of them are. Yeah. And the fact that he seems to be, at this point in his career, a bit of an emotional roller coaster because he had not missed a pass until the 4th down that he missed badly.
Yep.
And then you instantly saw him doing this thing on the bench again. Now he did, I don't want to say he snapped out of it, but it's not like, he was a different player after that. He's a player that the talent is undeniable. The play on the sideline is undeniable that only a handful of guys in the whole league can make. But if it was just that the pre-snap stuff is bad, then I deal with that to get that.
Sure.
But when you add to it, he also missed some layups that would have won them the game, like easy passes. You know what I mean? The 4th down should have been an easy pass. He had a touchdown to Rome that could have been, or DJ Moore, pardon me. And so I am not out on Caleb Williams. I am pumping the brakes on my own timeline of when he will become a great player, because I think he is further behind than he should be his first start of year 2. Wow. I do feel that way.
This is a momentous day.
Well, to use, and obviously I know he's not your main guy. Your main guy is Mahomes. But, Nick likes to use the dating, the Rams dating him and all that. Yes. This is what we just witnessed. This is the equivalent of, I want to see other people. I mean, that's really what this is.
That was
right. I want to see it. We can still hang out, have fun, but I want to see.
We're no longer exclusive.
Yeah, that's what that was. So I'm just letting you know.
Thanks, bro.
But look, I'm with you to some degree in that I feel worse too about the Bears. I know it's just one game. I don't want to overreact. We're obviously not changing our picks at this point. They look like the worst team in the division, unless Detroit really has fallen off. I mean, obviously Green Bay looks
awesome,
great,
and
Minnesota just beat them.
Yeah.
And then Detroit, we assume, will still be a pretty good team. Minnesota's defense was better. Minnesota's quarterback was better yesterday, at least. Their run game was better. Mm-hmm. Their coaching was better. I mean, the adjustments they made at halftime just seemed to have Ben Johnson, like he didn't, they didn't react well to him. And a lot of this, obviously, how you feel about the Bears is a lot about Caleb. And look, he had his moments, as he did his last year too, but he looked good at points. But Nick, and I think that quote from him supports what I'm about to say. He looks like a great athlete playing quarterback rather than a quarterback who happens to be a great athlete, like Mahomes, like Lamar, like Josh. Like, he looks like a great, and the fact that you're still your second season, heck, first, I can't really think off the top of my head the last quarterback that we talked so much about, and he's talking in press conferences about we got out of the huddle fast. Or the plays came.
And by the way, I didn't think they got out of the huddle fast.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Just basic stuff that we take for granted. Like when you watch Caleb, you're looking to see that stuff. You're not really looking for that with any other quarterback, even a lot of the rookies for the most part. And so to me, that shows This dude is a phenomenal athlete, and he is. Like, the runs he made, the speed he showed.
And the arm strength is unreal.
The arm strength. And so, even like early on when he was 10 for 10, and Aikman did a great job of talking about this, yeah, he was 10 for 10, obviously a lot of stuff underneath, check downs, but he was missing some stuff down the field. And to me, that says that Caleb he's thinking too much. Like, he was in his mind, and Aikman talked about it, Ben Johnson has just been like completions, which has its value, but he was checking down like, it was like he almost made up in his mind, this is where I'm going, I just want to make it easy, which I get because that's what's being drilled into his head, but that shows he's not playing instinctively. His instincts are more what we saw in the second half. I'm not even talking about the inaccuracy, but running. He wants to run. And I actually think you should not treat him like Justin Fields.
No.
But I think they need to lean more into him running. Like, he can be a dual threat quarterback. I'm not saying he'll be this good, but like a Lamar, like a Josh is a dual threat. Jalen.
Justin Fields, I wouldn't do, but like early Lamar.
No, not Justin Fields
but early
at all.
Lamar I think is interesting. You know what I mean?
What about like a Jalen Hurts? I mean, Jalen Hurts even. Like, he has that ability and he's just running now when he's scrambling. And maybe they're just like, look, we just want to get him playing on time.
Yeah, I also
we don't want to get him
thinking
about running.
As Jalen.
No, he's not Jalen. Well, I think I would imagine he's bigger than Lamar, though. He's bigger than Lamar.
Oh, I don't think so.
No.
You don't think Caleb Williams is more like stockier than Lamar?
I think Lamar is like shot. Have you seen Lamar's neck? I talk about this
the
a lot.
neck. I think, but
okay,
whatever the case, I do think he should be able to run more. So, look, he's a work in progress. I do feel worse about them and him to a degree. But like Nick, I'm not giving up on them.
No, but
it wasn't a great look.
Go, KW.
I'm just saying, if Caleb is open to seeing other people.
Because you would have to officially throw in the towel on Drake May.
Cup of coffee?
On Drake May.
Cup of coffee's going to hurt anything? You're not allowed to have friends?
Oh.
Here's what I like. This is why. Week 1. The big question for us in sports television is, hey, was that week 1 performance just week 1? Rusty, new system? Or was it indicative of something either more problematic or, we're going to talk about JJ, sign of things to come? Bro didn't have a good game. We're not here talking about like what's wrong with Bro.
Yeah, because of the track record.
Goff didn't have a good game. Not saying what's wrong with Goff. Tua didn't have a good game. We are saying that. Even though Tua has led the league with that offense, with those wide receivers, we've seen him do great things. I'm giving a little bit to watching a little bit of the Manning cast and having Peyton Manning's like, ooh, Brian Flores confused me on that.
Yeah.
That goes a long way with me.
No,
I would like to see him to go. He's got Detroit next, and Aaron Glenn's not there, and Ben Johnson knows what they're going to run. I'm just saying. Can I say something?
My best friend moving it. Oh, she can see other people now?
As I said 11 minutes ago.
Shoulder cry on.
He's mad at me.
I'm starting to believe
my
he's
mad
at
you. Before they're even my ex. Can I say one thing again as I try to repair our relationship? Critical of
we don't have a bad relationship.
He's very mad at me, guys. Critical of Ben Johnson. Because here's the deal.
Go ahead.
I am used to and I expect the older coaches to not be as good at game management as I am. That's fine. I do not accept it from a guy who's supposed to be cutting edge and is my age. And at the end of the game, when there's 2:02 left, you must ensure you save the 2-minute warning. Ben said his plan was kick it through the back of the end zone. Santos couldn't execute. Here's the problem, and this is maybe some people look at it as next level or whatever. If you're a brand new head coach, supposed to be the smart guy, you have to get this the way I got it instantly. The touchback these days is the 35.
Yeah.
What is the penalty for kicking it out of bounds? Or, more accurately, with the new kickoff rule, just tapping the football. Oh, it didn't land in the landing zone. The penalty is the 40. you could have guaranteed you get the 2-minute warning by telling Santos, here's your job. Walk up to the ball and tap it with your toe. It doesn't land in the landing zone. The ball is dead. No time runs off the clock. It is Minnesota ball at the 40, 2:02 left, guaranteed. You cannot risk losing the 2-minute warning on weak leg Cairo Santos being able to kick it out of the end zone when the maximum upside of that is 5 yards. You can guarantee you keep the 2-minute warning, give them the ball at the 40 by just tapping the football. Now, people listening, watching right now be like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. It's not your job. It is Ben Johnson's. I thought of it, and Peyton Manning on the Manningcast thought of it evidently as well. I wasn't watching that broadcast. But you can't, that's a huge error. Because they would have got the ball back with a minute left, and then who knows? That's a huge error that Ben Johnson can't make. Got to be better.
Well, they may have gotten it back with a minute left.
Well, they did get it back with 20 seconds, so I'm saying yes.
Depending on what they had done, you know.
Correct. Just something.
Bears in Detroit next week. Vibe check in Minnesota, very high. J.J. McCarthy threw for 2, ran in a touchdown as the Vikings scored 21 in the fourth. Here's Kevin O'Connell in a very happy locker room. Take a listen.
This feeling that we have right now does not happen without one other guy. All right? Did not go the way any of us wanted. This guy, all right, I could tell from the jump, he was poised. He was poised. But this guy didn't quit. Me and you always thought he would figure it out. 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown all in the second half.
Sam Darnold's like, that used to be me. What do you make of JJ's comeback win, bro?
I mean, obviously his numbers weren't the greatest, but can you have a better debut than this? You know, I mean, when you do something no one in the history of the league has done, which was the 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, you know, for the comeback, like, it was great. He showed resilience. He showed toughness. Now, look, he did, in fairness, he got a big boost from his defense, which was just great in the second half. Only gave up the 7 points late in the game. And then from his run game, which they ran for 85 yards in the second half.
And a little from the officials.
Well, all that did is give him time to ease into the game. And look, he didn't look rattled to me at the beginning. He wasn't doing much, but he was passing the ball fine when he threw it. He was under a little duress from the pressure from the Bears. But for him to bounce back from that pick 6 in his home city, on the road, in a huge standalone game on a team that was 14-2 last year and just let this quarterback who was in the MVP discussion go because of you, and you're facing a big-name rookie, the number 1 pick opposite you, for him to do what he did was huge. And so you mentioned, Nick, when we were talking about Caleb, the emotional roller coaster, his demeanor, personality, whatever. That is so big for NFL quarterbacks. Like, that's one of the intangibles. Like, is this guy a leader of men? You know, do guys respect him and all that? And he seems to have that. That's certainly what he showed in this game. And I think his confidence and the team's confidence in him is going to take a huge jump because of this.
Well, listen, we can show you his fourth quarter versus the first 3. It's stark because he was having an awful game. He looked totally out of sorts. The pick 6, it looked like, ended the game. You know what I mean? And he was seemingly no threat whatsoever. To go from that to that is stark. It's, almost more impressive than if he was just mediocre the first 3 quarters and then, turned it on. I also think the story within the story is this is why the Minnesota Vikings believed they could move off 14 wins. Because they believe that with that roster they currently have, the coaching they currently have, the situational sharpness, the flip side of the Ben Johnson mistake is KOC had clearly told him, no matter what, take it out. You know what I mean? Cool. Those things sets a floor. And so the floor obviously is not 14 wins, but the floor is higher than most. And so we'll roll the dice on upside and talent without, we don't think that if we're wrong about J.J. McCarthy, we're about to be in a barren wasteland the way the Giants or the Jets have found themselves when they have missed on a quarterback, because we like our roster, we love our coaches, we love our scheme, all those things. And so they take a chance on a kid who, it's really interesting, that game was a kind of what people said about him coming out of school, which was not that he would look bad and then look good, but like, can't explain it, but he never loses faith and the kid's a winner. And I typically don't like that type of analysis, but in college, he made the plays when they asked him to make the plays. In the pros, in his first game ever, he looks totally out of his depth until he has to be good, and then was really good and tough and didn't lose confidence.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I think you got a glimpse of why people loved him. Some people loved him the way they did. You know, I joked about during the draft process that whenever people talk about J.J. McCarthy, they talked about his handshake and what a good kid he was, not about like his throwing motion. But maybe for playing the quarterback position, some of those intangible things play a bigger factor than the numbers suggest, which it probably supports. That's a cousin of supporting your guy Jalen. Seriously.
I know that.
See, that's another nice thing I've said about Kevin Wildes, guys.
JJ versus Michael Penix on Sunday Night Football. Jalen Carter, currently not suspended for spitting on Dak. He's also not suspended. We're waiting for news from the league office. Might come down today. Brew, do you think Jalen Carter should be suspended?
I'm going to be honest. Some of this is probably just my personal fandom. No.
I agree.
I want to see him
you.
played in this game on Sunday against the Chiefs. But I feel like he didn't play in this game last week, right? Like he didn't play one snap. So that could be viewed as the suspension.
Does it matter to you that the league's like official policy is that's not how it's viewed?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think mostly, I agree. But I think mostly, generally, you've played some portion of the game when you're suspended. Yeah. He played none. Look, if the league comes down on him and suspends him for a game, I'm not going to raise my voice in protest because I get it. It's a bad look. You got kids watching. You don't want that. But I don't think he has to be suspended. I think a hefty fine would suffice.
Okay. So just like you were saying, and I agree, it shouldn't play a role. It's not fair that it plays a role that this is a huge game and a Super Bowl rematch or whatever, but it does. Here's another thing that's not fair that it would play a role, but I wonder if it did. The college football player from Florida that spit on a kid this weekend.
You know what? I don't know if it's connected or not.
So
it's not nothing, but it's not.
So Brendan Bett,
something.
and he has since apologized, and it was his spit seemed more egregious than Jalen's, but he's also younger and not a pro. I saw that and I was like, I feel like I don't know how much of a percentage, but his odds of being suspended went up. Like Luis Suarez, soccer player, spit on a security guy and just got 3 games, but that just happened as well.
He bites people,
right? But that guy's kind of a little crazy. That to me is coincidental. This might also be coincidental, but there's an element of since we've been in this studio. Let's just go the last 4 years. We have not had a single college or pro football player of note in the discussion for spitting on a guy. And the fact that he does it Thursday, and then the Florida kid does it Saturday, I do wonder if the NFL almost feels a responsibility to make it clear this is not.
Right.
Obviously, it's not acceptable, but it is. The penalty is harsh. And so, I think that it is outrageous if people get mad that he's suspended. Right. You know what I mean? I think that a suspension is warranted. I also think that from a logical perspective, I agree with you, even though the rules say that wasn't a suspension, that was an ejection. That was a suspension.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And so I feel like he did. They don't do this in the NFL. Like, I feel like if they said, hey, you have to miss the first quarter. You know what I mean? Like you have to miss, truly a full, complete game
they
plus.
won't do that.
Like I know that's not even allowed. But you know what? Like in college football, you can suspend a guy for a half or something. And so I don't think. I also don't think he will be. But if he is, I honestly believe the Florida kid spitting was one of the reasons why.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people didn't spit. Mm-hmm. So maybe he should be like, my
okay.
counter-argument is
Yeah,
most people did not.
Yeah, but
if he is going to be suspended, I hope it's the fourth quarter of the game when he's usually sitting down anyways. You know what I'm saying?
That's not going to help your reception in Kansas City.
That's the way it went. Eagles are favored by 1.5. 49ers might be falling apart next on FS1, the Fox Sports Channel, Sirius XM. Live from Kansas City this Friday, 3 to 6 Eastern, when the show normally is. 2 to 5 Kansas City time. We'll all be there.
special guests already lining up.
Lining up for special guests. Also, I'm putting out a call because we expect a lot of Kansas City fans.
Oh, yeah, this is good.
Eagles fans like to travel. If you're coming to the game on Sunday, pop over to the Power and Light District. Have yourself
Come
a
by,
cocktail.
stop by the show. Don't do your
sure.
regular Eagle fan stuff and try to fight people. Be civilized. We're from the Midwest. We're nice.
Oh, my God.
And if you bring a show-related sign, no profanity, obviously, just like Kevin Wilde's National Treasure, something like that, I'll buy you beers.
How is that going to work logistically?
I'm going to bring a giant wad of cash, and somebody's going to hand out 20s to anybody who has a sign.
How much are beers in Kansas City? Like $2?
See this guy.
Right, that's more than a beer.
$1.25. Live on Friday. It'll
There
be
are
excellent.
$3 PBR specials.
That's what I'll take. Yeah. San Francisco gutted out a victory, but now it's their roster being gutted. Kittle out with a hamstring and on the IR. He'll miss 4 weeks. Juwan Jennings has a chance to play, but he hurt his shoulder. Purdy status, TBD with a toe in his shoulder. Jake Moody, the kicker, cut. Now on the bright side, if go with me here, Mac Jones is okay. Warming up in the bullpen.
This is the most classic one Greg's ever had.
Man.
Greg had it a year and a half ago. He's like, Niners are done because they're going to not stay healthy.
But week
2
one,
years-
Greg,
2
already?
years.
Yeah,
This is typically their Achilles heel. If they,
Yes.
that's the one injury they
injured?
don't have.
Trademark.
Sorry, go ahead.
literally,
'Cause you don't
they,
mean trade.
if they get injured, this team is done. It's unfortunate.
Can I, before Brew answers if they're in trouble, can I ask a question about the injuries to you?
This is great. This is controversial.
Do they just have the worst, training staff?
Oh my!
No, I'm
mean,
not.
you
Again,
said it's
I
ridiculous.
feel bad asking because I obviously know nothing about what those people do. But it feels like they have the worst training staff.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say that. It has.
It's just bad luck.
Do you think they have the
It's
best
bad.
training staff?
well,
Absolute best.
They're definitely working around the clock.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
It's a mess.
Brew.
What's the question?
Are they in trouble? You're 49.
Before I answer that, gentlemen, I gotta say it. What a stud! Look at this. He did this
What? Oh,
with a bad shoulder and a bum toe. Look at it. There is no sign of injury whatsoever, and he just wins them the game. I mean, on a bad shoulder and a bad toe, but yet he's scrambling like
the
a
bad
running
shoulder
back.
is not his throwing
Exactly.
shoulder.
It's still a bad shoulder, and the toe is damaging. Greg definitely knows that.
No,
So,
I don't.
You know how bad a toe injury can be.
Yeah, now
if it's
I'll
gonna
still
keep
be
him
out
out,
there
And
running
how do
routes
okay.
as a receiver.
that is impressive. So that's number one.
Okay.
Good. We get that out.
It depends on how long Purdy's out. I think he showed last week that he's their most important. McCaffrey wasn't great last week. I don't know if he's going to be great this year. They need Purdy to have a shot at making the playoffs. I mean, no offense to Mac Jones.
Buckle up.
But look, they're fortunate they're playing New Orleans. Maybe they can get a win with Mac Jones against New Orleans. But Kittle's out for 4 games at least. Juwan Jennings is out. Pearsall look good, but Pearsall by himself,
Well, Christian McCaffrey's there.
Yeah, but again, it's hard for. I mean, he didn't look great last week, and I mean,
Purdy didn't look great last week. They won.
I thought he looked very good, though. I mean, he carried them. Like, if they had a kicking game and his first drive was fantastic, he won them the game. I thought Purdy was fine. I mean, the 2 interceptions, obviously, you want back. But McCaffrey's not going to carry him. And I don't trust his health anyway. If anybody I'm worried about health-wise is McCaffrey.
I'm worried about Purdy. I'm worried. Purdy. Here's the other part of it. So, Mac Jones coming in and dealing would be one of the greatest things ever happened to this show. It would officially put to bed all of our Niner arguments, and Wilds would be back from the dead.
Be careful.
So how would it though?
Because, Brew, I literally during the offseason got you on the record about how bad you think Mac Jones is because I thought this might arise. And if there is some chance that Mac Jones comes in and is awesome, the answer can't be, oh, it turns out he's awesome now. It might just be Shanahan's system.
You know what the answer would be? It was one game. He can have a good
sure.
games.
No.
If he's going to lead him to the Super Bowl, then that's a different thing.
No, he's no Jimmy Garoppolo. But here is, to me, the bigger story here, which is, and you guys have gotten mad at me about this in the past, but I think Greg is with me on it. When people say, like, Nick, you still hold Purdy's draft position against him, one of the reasons, and I think you might agree with this, Brew, that he was drafted where he was because of physical measurables. You know what I mean? Like, not the biggest guy, not the strongest guy, strongest arm, and he obviously has wildly outperformed that, better than any 7th-round pick at his position ever, hands down. But we're now on a handful of real injuries this guy has suffered. This one, to your point, these two, we don't even know when or how they happened. You know what I mean? There wasn't like some catastrophic moment or whatever it was, and that is for a team that just paid him near the top of the market, not quite top of market, but in line with the best quarterbacks in the league. This is really concerning. So, yes, they're in trouble right now because the other thing is this, oh, my God, even if they're not good, at least they have such a soft schedule. After the Saints, it's Jags, Rams, Bucks, Falcons, Texans. And 1 week in, I would say 4 of those 5 teams are better than we thought, looked better.
They have the Cardinals.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Right, you're right. My bad.
They got to get through that at least 2 and 2.
Right, and then the Texans are the only team there that played worse than maybe we thought they would going into week 1. But it's just the schedule might not be quite as easy as we thought. So in the short term, it's really damaging. And long term, it's concerning that Purdy has suffered some type of injury that's made him miss time in now 3 years. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like that's not nothing to me, KW. Do you want to talk about Mac Jones?
I mean, I think Mac Jones does not really drive the ratings.
He never did, but that never stopped you before.
Nationally. That being said, I hope Purdy can heal up and get back in the starting lineup. But if Mac Jones starts winning games,
well, I hope he can go in there.
Is Purdy out?
We don't know. He's uncertain.
Exactly. He's uncertain.
He might just play.
And to Brew's point, he was played fine with the injury.
Thank you. So here's the deal. They are definitely in trouble because I've said this before. This is an older team trying to get younger, but they're still going to have injury issues. And if they arise this early in the season, you kind of have the expectation, man, it's starting already. Right. If you're a Niner fan, knowing what you went through last year, the thing with Purdy is what I don't want to hear from you across this desk is if he plays, well, he's playing with a shoulder injury. Right. He's playing with his toe.
You ran Baker I don't want to hear that. Cleveland for that.
I do not want to hear that because
Baker props for playing through injury.
Because what we understand,
I was the one saying
Greg is putting it out. Greg is making a show
I'm just letting you know right now if he doesn't perform well, because now we know Kittle is out, CMC. We don't know if he's going to get back to.
They gave him 30 touches, so they think CMC's healthy. He just was not effective.
Ricky Pearsall, valid option, showed up. They're developing some type of chemistry, but naturally he's going to be asked to do more, regardless of the regardless of his non-throwing shoulder injury and his toe, whichever toe it is. You're going to come up with a plan that is heavily involving Brock Purdy. Right. Why? Because of what you ended with. We've paid him to overcome some of these issues. We know injuries are part of the game. If we have you, we paid you like you should be able to Band-Aid some of this stuff.
It's a must-win game.
You smile.
It's bad that it's against the Saints. It'd be good if it was against the Packers.
It's good that it's against the Saints.
No, wild is bad because you can't lose.
You cannot lose.
Can't lose this game.
I'll state facts. That's what I'll do.
Greg?
I'm facts over feelings.
Great job. Well,
no, I'll state facts.
Greg's just trying to set the table.
If your weapons aren't there, that's the fact. If you're a bit banged up, that's a fact. That's all I'm saying. I won't make excuses. I don't make excuses, but I'll make explanations. Okay. It's a difference.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
See, I was an English major.
We know, bro. And an actor.
Ravens still dealing with the fallout of their collapse in Buffalo. Harbaugh addressed the stat that was haunting him and the team after the game. Now, the stat is that Harbaugh has blown 17 double-digit second-half leads, the most since at least 1991 when this stuff started getting tracked. But the coach says, hey, hear me out. You got to be ahead to blow a lead. That's worth something. Take a listen.
Maybe part of it's the fact that we've been ahead a lot. You know, we've won a lot of games, so we've had a lot of two-score leads. So we've kept a lot of those, but I think we've lost 6 of them, if I'm not mistaken. That's too many. I don't care how many two-score leads you have, and I do believe that we need to be really thoughtful of, you know, how we decide that we're going to approach those situations going forward.
Okay, so he has a point. The Ravens have had the most 10-point leads in 101 regular season games since 2019. They did blow 5 of them, which is the second most, but they've had the most. So makes sense.
Here's why I don't think he has as strong of a point as he thinks. Okay. Because I think there's a better stat than that, and this is courtesy of Mike Sando. So what Mike Sando did was from 2022 to now, there's 7 teams that have been up. So this is his info, but I will translate it because it's hard to see. I understand. 7 teams who've been up by more than a score in the fourth quarter at least 20 times. It's the best teams over the course of those 3 years. And so the Ravens have done it 31 times. Bills 21, Niners 25, Bengals 21, Lions 22, Eagles 28, Chiefs 24. But then there's the losses. So the Chiefs are 24-0. Because the idea of the Chiefs blowing a 2-score fourth quarter lead seems impossible. They also haven't had a 2-score fourth quarter lead a lot lately, but still, they're on the list. Eagles are 27-1. The Lions are 21-1. The Bengals are 20-1. The Niners and Bills are 23-19-2. So 23-2, 19-2. And the Ravens are 25-6. So having a few more than the other excellent teams does not explain why all of the other excellent teams either never lose those games, 3 of them have lost 1, 2 of them have lost twice, and you've lost 6 times. And to me, Brew, it is
That's little. Up to 16. You know, they're trying to extend it out there.
Say it again?
It's up to 9 to 16 rather than just 10.
No, right. Well, it's just, it's 2-score games is what that one is. And so it was, I thought that's what he was talking about because he said we've done it 6 times, and that stat was 6 times, so I thought maybe they were.
That's what he meant, right?
That's what I figured he meant, was up multiple scores in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. I think it's a little bit of what the kids would call cope and what I would just call denial about, there's something you guys structurally are doing that is leading to this. I think that's, to me, pretty obvious.
It's absolutely obvious, and I think every time Harbaugh addresses it, it's the same demeanor, which I get, that's his demeanor, but he just downplays it. And I get it, he may not want to criticize his players publicly or whatever, but that's my guess is that's his demeanor with them as well. And the sense of urgency, it just has to change. The best thing he said was, we do have to be more thoughtful about how we end these games. Maybe you want to see it said with more fire or whatever.
What is that? What does that mean?
Well, a lot of times, Greg, like you're watching a game and the team has a lead and the defense has been good throughout the game. I know that wasn't the case Sunday night with the Bills, but then they go prevent. And all of a sudden the other team starts moving the ball and occasionally they get back in the game. And I'm always thinking, you were shutting them down with your typical defense. Why not stay there? Yeah, just stay.
And the flip side of that offensively, where you
and
just try to suck the air out of the ball.
Exactly. Like with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson and a good pass game now, whether it's your tight ends or your receivers, you should never fall apart offensively late in the game. It's one thing if the team has been shutting you down most of the game. But when we saw Sunday night, you score on your first 8 possessions, you can't score on your last 3 or even get a first down. That should never happen. And that speaks to you're getting careful. You're just trying to hold on and not lose rather than win. So hopefully, obviously they're going to address everything and try, but it's not too much criticism because this is their biggest problem.
Yeah, it's definitely not too much criticism. And to your point, this is who they are offensively. And what I mean by that is, they're a run-first team. I know we get excited about when Lamar throws the ball, but their identity is, man, they got to run Derrick Henry. They got to be physical at the point of attack. In this game, what they were doing actually would have benefited them to keep doing that. They were making quick decisions in the passing game, rolling Lamar out on boots, waggles, whatever you want to call them, and getting the ball to Derrick Henry.
Gashing them with Derrick Henry.
That's what you want to do if you want to chew up clock and to just all of a sudden know that a defense is going to, okay, you know what? We got to load the box even more because we kind of believe they're going to just give it to Derrick Henry. And to just do that when you have, regardless of what Lamar said of, man, cramping and all, you got arguably one of the best weapons on your side under center at all times in any matchup. Use it. I don't care if it's to show. The last thing I'll say is, before Lamar became the MVP level consistent version of Lamar, the knock on this team was, well, they can't play from behind because they couldn't throw the ball, especially in the postseason. And so you've been on both sides of this where, man, we've been terrible when we've been behind. We've been terrible when we've been in the lead. To your point of, you kind of are who you are. You just don't know how to finish.
Yeah. I wonder how long this is going to linger for.
Well, it depends. Last year, the Chiefs' loss lingered into week 2 and the Raiders.
Are they still talking about it? Remember week 1? I think they should move on. Tua and the Dolphins had a brutal performance against the Colts. 3 turnovers and a 25-point loss. Now, Mike McDaniel said, quote, he said this, I believe, today, the good news and the positive is I don't see how it could be worse.
Well, that's
Tua.
not a lie.
There's a lot of things we need to look at. We need to look in the mirror. We need to continue to hold each other accountable for what it is. And, I would definitely say it starts with me. And I think as a team, collectively, this was something we were trying to avoid. But could this be good for us? I don't know. We'll see how we respond next week.
Tua on Sunday, Bruce, 61% completion, 114 yards, 5 yards pass. Passer rating is under 52. It's the lowest in any game with at least 5 pass attempts. Your reaction to Tua?
Well, first of all, bars. Those are bars.
Really?
That's what I want to generally hear from a quarterback. That type, his demeanor, his look, what he said, I thought was great, generally speaking.
Okay.
The problem is when you speak that way, you got to deliver to some degree. When you have 3 turnovers and then you're coming in speaking that way, it doesn't hold the same weight. All right. And when you have 3 turnovers like he did, 2 interceptions and a fumble, you say, I got to look in the mirror. There's no we, there's no us. Even if obviously that's true, there's no we, there's no us. It's me. It's all me. I got to get better. I let the guys down. I got to do some soul searching. I got to look in the mirror. That's all I want to hear when you play that poorly. So what he said is right, but you're not going to have the credibility in the locker room when you play so badly.
Yeah, I'll echo what Brew was saying. That was the first thing that stood out to me. Don't start with we, start with I. And I understand what he's saying because they did. As a team, they played poorly. But when you are a part of it and you have played a significant role in why we perform poorly offensively, just talk about you.
Right.
Just talk about you. We all understand from a quarterbacking perspective, if you play better, it gives us a better chance to win. If you don't make some of those mistakes, and not all of them were on him, both of those picks were, the sack strip fumble, could have protected the ball a little bit better.
Man. The sack isn't the fumble. That's
the fumble. Yeah, because you could have protected the ball a little bit better. But all these things you are in control of, and so naturally, if I'm in that locker room, I don't want you to try to pass it off to someone else. Right. We're going to identify ourselves. You identify you. So I know when I'm looking in this huddle, Tua owns his.
You can't just throw in there, and obviously it starts with me, like as a side thing, you know?
Paying him was the original sin. Some of us said
I knew
from
you
the
were
very
gonna go.
beginning. You can't. It's not a player you can pay unless you have exhausted every other possible avenue. They didn't, and two things happened. He instantly regressed. He started getting hurt again, which is sad, and you feel for him on that front. And here's the other part that people don't say with Tua, but is my vibe from him post getting paid. He bought the hype a little bit. He was like, I'm one of those dudes, and he has not played like that. And so I think that it is, I think Tua believes he is the caliber of quarterback who gets paid like he gets paid. I don't, and I don't think he plays like that, and I think it hurts the team.
Okay. They host the Patriots this Sunday. Patriots are
wow. Tua Drake May.
2-8.
This is a huge game.
Bet your interception props,
huge
America.
game for both teams.
It's not good.
We're going to really find out where guys stand.
Will the defenses outscore the offenses?
Mahomes Mountain next. Live from New York. It's the show that's debuting New Snow, Greg.
Greg,
don't ruin it. We have to use this for years.
How can you ruin snow? Look, it's still falling
It's melting
down.
because of you.
Look at that.
Too much.
And that, nobody can see that.
Okay, guys, there's one actor on the set, okay?
That's right. I got a SAG after too. So.
You do?
Yeah.
For what?
He's acting.
Yeah.
For what?
What show?
Criminal Minds.
Wow.
Criminal Minds?
Wow.
You never told us that.
I don't brag about it.
Exactly.
You have an IMDb page?
Yeah, but his doesn't say Greg Jennings playing Greg Jennings.
Second hour.
I bet you were playing a football player.
First.
No, I wasn't. Royal Pains, I did play a football player, but Criminal Minds,
I'm interested in that. Today, Caleb's collapse. Are we sure this was the...
Collapses seems a little strong.
Well, he went 10 for 10, and then he completed less than half of his passes.
Demise.
Just collapse just seems a touch strong.
You were 10 for 10.
I know what the numbers were.
What do you want me to say? Caleb's great game.
No, I see that.
I may have taken a little bit of liberty with the alliteration.
Yeah.
It fit. You know
Caleb's
what?
concerns.
I gotta
Caleb's
say so.
concerns.
Yeah.
Are you guys playing with this snow? It is nice. Greg,
Meanwhile,
man. Wow.
Thank you.
This stuff is
Are
nice.
the Chiefs in trouble against the Eagles? We will be there on Friday. We will not be playing. Is Xavier Worthy in the same boat? You know, just kind of watching from the sidelines. You know what I mean? Because he got hurt.
Yeah,
Travis Kelce hit him. Not good. But right now, of course, it's time for the slipperiest segment in all of sports. Also the debut, and Brew might not like it, of our AI, Mahomes Mountain. Week 1, in the books. The highs, the lows, the kinda okay performances. Nevertheless, we're about to see where all of the quarterbacks fall on the slipperiest and most dangerous segment in all of sports. Mahomes Mountain.
Wow.
Why is it so low?
What?
That
What happened to the flag?
Yeah.
It used to be high. I planted it very low that time. Well, robots.
I like it, though. I like that much better than the green screen.
Okay, that hurts my feelings.
That was great.
Snow leopard.
But thank you to everyone who made the AI. The humans, that is.
Yes, we appreciate everyone who put in extra work so Wilds could put in less work.
Thank you. That's the way it goes. Smarter, not harder.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. All right, this could be a controversial mountain. Don't really care. It has been for 5 years now America's most accurate and trusted quarterback ranking system, and it will continue to be.
Great.
Not a fickle beast the way the rest of the media is, but we'll get to that later.
Here we go.
Off the mountain, not climbing today, I think we call it. Russ off the mountain. Spencer Rattler stayed off the mountain. Bryce fell off the mountain. Listen, man.
I know, it hurts.
It's a tough spot, and I got to tell you, they're lucky the mountain has, at this point in the year, we try to keep it full. Because there's a few other guys who'd be down there with them with some vacancies.
Yeah, Joe Burrow.
But we didn't want to do. Well, no, Burrow wouldn't have fallen from where he was because it's not based purely on. To be clear, and I thought everyone understood this, it is not based purely on what you did week one. Like Joe Burrow, to Wild's point, his performance would have him off the mountain, but he was high enough that even if he drops, he's not going to drop right off the mountain. So there is, so who you are built into it to a degree. Those guys off the mountain. Bottom row of the mountain. Joe Flacco, welcome to the mountain. Sam Darnold fumbling into, Mark Sanchez is like, man, butt fumble, we now have a cousin of it. It's just different. And this one cost them the game when they could have won. We wouldn't be talking about Purdy's miraculous game-winning touchdown pass. Cam Ward,
why he's so
I'm telling you right now, I think Cam Ward, I'm ready to just say it. He gets a pass until he has a new head coach. I'm just ready to say it. Brian Callahan, not exactly bathing yourself in glory through a week. You know what? You know who's saying, see what I was talking about? Will Levis. Will Levis like, look what I was dealing with. Kyler, you're saying where you are. Bo Nix, Tua, and Drake May. If there were vacancies allowed in week 2, you'd all be off the mountain.
Wow.
Bo Nix was horrible, up to and including the final play of the game that Sean Payton called just to juice his numbers, and he missed the open guy and threw it away. Tua, we just talked about. Drake May, KW, against what could be one of the worst defenses in football, was bad immediately. I'm not out on him. And he's not on pumpkin watch. He is, however, on mid watch. Just telling you.
No comment.
He's never been Cinderella.
6th row, as Brew would say, it's not quarterback wins mountain, so we're not moving Trevor up, even though it was a pretty solid performance. But also the weather delay threw that game off, and the fact that they realized Carolina can't score. Daniel Jones, Greg, moving up. Justin Fields moving up. Michael Penix moving up. J.J. McCarthy moving up. Caleb staying where he is. And I don't think Caleb's performance was anything like the guys on the row beneath him. Yeah. But he obviously, he was fine. There were concerning moments. We've talked about it. We'll talk about it more later. 5th row, Goff and Stroud. The two quarterbacks, by the way, who remind me most of each other. Like Stroud's quarterback comp to me is Goff. And again, we haven't seen great C.J. Stroud in a bit now.
Yeah.
That's
a good point.
We're not sounding the alarm, but it's moderately concerning.
Yep.
And also his post-game quotes about, we were lollygagging. He has a lot of profound, come listen to what I've learned in my, wise years in the NFL moments. Just play a little better. Dak stays where he is. I know his passer rating was not good. I thought he was excellent in that game. Aaron Rodgers, highest spot on the mountain in years.
Wow.
Legitimately years, but he earned it with that performance. Brock Purdy, again, not going to drop him. He led the game-winning drive. I'm also not going to uplift him, given the fact that he played 3 quarters of really bad football.
Game winners.
But again, I can't move into the top 10, Brew, on that performance. 4th row, Joe Burrow drops. I think that's fair. We discussed it. I'm not going to drop him out of the top 10, but he has to drop. Jaden was fine in a game we haven't discussed really at all. Jordan Love was excellent, and Gino, my God, Gino was sitting there dealing, standing in the pocket, taking shots to the tune of 360 yards against a Patriots secondary that's supposed to be really good.
Christian Gonzalez.
Christian Gonzalez does not guard every spot. You guys are so good, you're cutting Jabril Peppers. You don't even need him. He must be a really good safety.
Right. They should be A1.
What's that about?
Row 3, Jalen Hurts moving up. because we thought he played a great game on Thursday night, even with pedestrian passing numbers, but he moves up. Justin Herbert moves up after the best game of his life, in my opinion.
Yes.
Seriously, that's not like a backhanded compliment. That was a great game in as big of a week 1 spot as you can have. He delivered. Matt Stafford stays where he is. Again, Matt Stafford standing there, finding guys, throwing seeds, doing Matt Stafford stuff. Road 2. Lamar Jackson. Can't move him up, but obviously would never move him down. He played great. Bake show. No left tackle on the road. Your toughest divisional game of the year. Down late, no problem. Emeka Egbuka, game winner, touchdown, bang. Bake show. Not even dark horse MVP candidate, just an MVP candidate last year, real MVP candidate this year, and candidate for the number 1 overall seed, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And atop the mountain, Josh Allen. One of the most perfect football games we've seen in recent memory from a player who is the defending league MVP. And above the top of the mountain, Patrick Mahomes. So here's the deal. Usually when we get here, I'm just like, and of course at the top of the mountain, Patrick Mahomes, and I give it to you, Greg. But I would like to spend a moment on this because I just want a level of consistency from the media at large.
Okay.
Concerns about the Chiefs, totally fair. I think the quarterback of the Chiefs has earned a greater than 2-game margin of error, but maybe I'm wrong. Because I don't have to go back very far at all. We don't have to go back to the MVP he won without Tyreek Hill or older Super Bowls or anything. If we just go back to January of last year, that's not that long ago, when Mahomes, the Chiefs were vulnerable and they were a road team and they were the underdog throughout the postseason, and then he outplayed Lamar and Josh and won the Super Bowl, the whole media said, I'm done doubting Patrick. I'm done. And that lasted very, very short period of time to where it was like, why are they winning the games like this? But in January of this year, after once again outplaying and beating Josh Allen, the whole media said in January of this year, I'm done arguing there's any quarterback better than this guy. And then in February of this year, this part of the show, not Greg, all had the same opinion. The Eagles have the better running back, offensive line, wide receivers, defensive line, linebackers, defense as a whole, and we're all picking the Chiefs. You know why? Because they have Patrick Mahomes. 2 games later, it's a controversial take. 2 games later, we went into a game in February of this year. If Patrick wins it, he has an argument to be the greatest quarterback of all time. 3-peat. 2 games later, one of which, the Charger game, he played well, and people are like, what's wrong with him? I think that's insane. He's obviously still the best quarterback in the league. He's atop the mountain. Greg Jennings, go ahead.
I appreciate it. Thank you for passing the baton. I'm going to address this really quick. Yes, Josh Allen should be atop of the top of the top of the mountain based on what we saw, especially in the fourth quarter. Team under duress. He put on the cape again. Sorry. Your Patrick Mahomes stuff was all great, but Josh Allen should be top of the mountain. But let's focus on a even brighter note. Daniel Jones.
Wow.
Oh my.
This is what a performance.
I mean, let me set the table really quick, because I know from me, Brew is sitting here waiting to hear what I've got to say.
Yeah.
And we've all had friends. We've all had somebody in our lives that we know in a relationship or has some type of relationship where it's like, man, what do they see in that person? Like, I don't get it. We try to talk them out of it sometimes, and they just keep telling you, man, you don't see what I see. You don't see what I see. I'm telling you, like, we're great together at times. When it's good, it's really good. In week 1, it was good. It was so good. I'm talking about Danny Dimes' top 10 QB week 1. Yes, wow. I said. All right, now 1 week.
Did he make top 10?
1 week.
No.
He didn't. No. He's climbing. He's climbing. He's in that 18th slot if we're going left to right. I know it's not left to right, but I mean, hey.
So
we're
it's
going
fluid.
It's very fluid.
he's talking about the
But look at these numbers. 75, almost 76% completion, 3 tutties. Who was saying he doesn't score a touchdown? I know 1 touchdown pass, but we don't do that with Josh Allen.
No, it's fine.
We count all of them.
Yeah.
So that's
He
what
is
I'm
a runner,
doing.
too. Yeah.
I'm talking, he was one of the reasons why we were like, wow, the Colts? And yes, they played the Dolphins, but we weren't as down on the Dolphins as we were the Colts.
Correct.
Why? Because of Daniel Jones. We thought Tua was good. Tua's better than Daniel Jones. No. This is why when you're in a relationship with someone, you can't listen to the outside noise. No. You got to stay focused. Daniel Jones, thank you for showing the world why I'm loyal to you. Yeah. Keep improving, keep climbing. He took notice. You're on the mountain because you were off last week.
Wow. Greg, I mean, Brew, before you go, do you want to respond? I feel like you're the person.
All I would say is keep that same energy.
Oh,
Keep that same energy.
It's a rich tapestry. It's all I'm saying.
Greg will luck out and be off the week, which is next week. That Daniel Jones goes out there and has a Daniel Jones game.
We'll get you
And Coach will have to deal with it. Coach, no, he won't answer Skype.
Skype phone.
Skype.
Oh, yeah.
Skype. Even I know. Is Skype still
No,
exist?
Skype's out of business.
What happened to Skype?
They got their corners taken by Zoom.
Same thing.
I just listen, buddy.
Skype.
This is not. We're on the air.
Skype. Like that.
Bro,
Whoever
go
thought
ahead.
just having a service for free?
All right. Look, maybe I don't understand the mountain.
Well, it's not left to right. It's rich tapestry.
I understand Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league.
Okay.
I
That's a good place to
stand by
start.
Boat. I was the first to call him the Boat, according to Sports Illustrated. I stand by saying.
That's not.
No, Jordan.
Called him Jordan-esque.
Ask according to
What,
Sports
is
Illustrated.
that what Sports Illustrated
Yes.
wrote about?
Yes.
Jordan-esque?
Yeah.
I'll take that's the same
do you
thing.
know what you said?
Best ever. Same thing. Jordan-esque,
Brew
Boat, whatever.
was the first to call him Jordan-esque. He was definitively not the first to call him the best.
That's debatable. I'm in the discussion for that. All right. So I love Patrick Mahomes,
Yes,
and I'm not like Nick. You said now people saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not the best quarterback in the league, and I agree that he carries the Chiefs, but he can't be a top. To me, maybe I don't understand the mountain. He can't be atop the mountain right now. He can't. Like I don't think you think, and you might say, well, it's not based on one game. You don't think, as much respect as you have for Baker, Herbert now, you don't think they're better than Joe Burrow. But Burrow fell. Patrick, he wasn't as bad as Burrow, obviously. But Josh Allen, as Greg said, should be atop the mountain. If the games matter to some degree, if the present matters to some degree,
that's why he moved up.
Then he should be up above the mountain.
He's in the top spot.
He should be at the top. And here's the thing. Mahomes, these are where his numbers were ranked league-wide after week 1. He had the 23rd best completion percentage, 17th best passer rating, not even 90, 9th best passing yards, and the 15th yards per attempt.
Yeah.
How can he be atop the mountain? This isn't one bad game in week 9 after you've been great most of the season. This is this season starting out. And again, I get he's the best quarterback, but if the current, what happens week to week matters to some degree.
It does matter.
Yes,
but you agree with me that Burrow shouldn't be off the mountain, right?
No.
Right,
not
because
at all.
Burrow had enough of a margin
And I'm not
of error.
saying I just think Mahomes should drop a little bit, and Allen should be at
here's
number
the thing.
1.
Graphically, despite the fact that we have powers of AI, we can't show separation between the rows and get everyone on there. The gap going into this year between Mahomes and all the other best quarterbacks in football who always lose to Mahomes when it matters and get outplayed by him was like this. After week 1 with Josh's performance, it got smaller, hence why the only way I could visually show it is by giving Josh his own row. Because as Bruce said, while saying no way Mahomes can be a top, the best quarterback in the NFL is...
Well, yeah, I think, but
So
is that just what?
He's
Then
closed the
then
gap.
how?
He closed the gap.
The top 4 should not switch.
Well, no, again, it's a rich tapestry.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a rich tapestry.
It's a rich tapestry. And Joe Burrow, to me, his margin of error shrunk last year. It didn't expand. I know everyone was wowed by the numbers. I think for Joe Burrow, last year and then starting off this year by doing the exact opposite of last year, which is play poorly, don't have numbers, but win. And folks are like, well, got the win. Like, it feels like people are kind of trying to have it both ways with Joe Burrow, where they win if they lose, but he plays great, that helps him. He gets MVP votes. If they win, but he plays poorly and the offense doesn't do anything, well, at least they won. And so I was saying all offseason, if someone wanted to make the argument that it was not a big four anymore, it was a big three, I was here for that. That it was Mahomes, Josh,
but you had
Lamar.
Him four.
Yeah, I personally do have him. Yeah,
and he drops again. Him dropping doesn't make me think you don't think he's the fourth best quarterback in the league. And Mahomes dropping shouldn't make.
Again, Mahomes, believe it or not,
but he's going to be number one then all season.
Well,
he's the best quarterback.
I'm going to address that.
Okay, good. Because I'm just baffled. That's all.
I'm moving Jalen. I'm switching Jalen and Baker just immediately.
Okay.
And I'm a Bake Show guy. I like Baker.
Okay.
But Jalen Hurts has now won 15 straight games.
If we take out the game he lost.
Take out the game that he was concussed in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I would if you got hurt in the fourth quarter and lose the game, fine. You get hurt in the first quarter, I'm not putting that on your record. But we exclude week 16. So here's how he's been doing. Excellent.
Wow.
Now he's got a matchup against the Chiefs in the AFC. How's he do against the AFC? Longest active win streaks. Now they're great. Granted, they're kind of cousins of each other. You have a long win streak, you're going to have a long win streak against the opposing conference. He's got 9. Jordan Love has 5. Sam Darnold, shout out to Sam Darnold, he has 5. And then there's this graphic, and I will end this with a question. Hurts versus the Chiefs. He's on a 2-game win streak, obviously. Team scores 32 points. He completes 69% of his passes. Yards per game, 320. It's the most against any team he's faced multiple times. 11 touchdowns, 2 turnovers, passer rating of 100.
I think it's 3 turnovers. That's fine.
3 turnovers. Sorry, I took one out. I didn't count that one. I didn't think it was.
I wouldn't have corrected it, but I know you really want the
legit.
podcast audience to get the right information.
It's exactly right.
TV audience could see it was wrong. I just had to.
That's exactly right. I appreciate that. And all the loyal listeners do as well. And I haven't made my picks. I'll make my pick Friday when we're
live in Kansas City, Power and Light District. Free for everybody.
If Jalen Hurts beats Patrick Mahomes for the 3rd consecutive time.
Oh, okay. What? This is what I asked you to do yesterday.
I'm asking the group.
No.
Because I feel reluctant to all of a sudden be like, oh, is it pretty obvious that this guy is the best quarterback in the NFL? It feels strange, but I'm getting there. So I'm slowly moving there.
Okay.
You've won 16 straight games?
So that
you weren't concussed. You beat Patrick Mahomes, who is the best, who we use as the benchmark of greatness.
And
you're on a 2-game winning streak already.
So you're asking the group. I will. We can go around the horn very quickly. If the Eagles win Sunday, no, I don't think Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in football. You, the best quarterback in football. Who you think right now is Josh Allen? If the Eagles win Sunday, no. Brew?
No.
Okay, now you.
I'm not ready to say no. I'm not ready to say no.
One regular season, I get it. It's
not just. It'll be 2 regular season wins this year. And Josh, can you run the numbers on the Super Bowl? A Super Bowl MVP. So I'm not willing to.
You never thought Stafford was the best quarterback in the league.
No.
You never.
But I'm in the here and now.
Wins a lot
I thought Tom Brady was. He looked like a good quarterback.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I don't. But honestly, seriously, KW, we were doing the shows together. I don't know that you did think Tom Brady was the best quarterback in the league after they won the Super Bowl in Tampa. I think that, you know what I mean?
No, I think it proved that he was.
Okay, all right.
I think that was like a definite whoa, this guy has something special. Here's the thing. I think every quarterback, here's the crux of my argument. I feel like every quarterback on the mountain, and this is the intro that I do, needs to have a path to the top.
Yes.
Or else it's not
But,
fair.
and
if
so-
guys are just stuck in the top, like, you know what? Every time you come up, I kick you
everybody,
down.
hold
I
on.
subscribe to that.
Hold on.
And if Jalen Hurts has won 16 straight games and is the reigning Super Bowl MVP, and he's not at the top of the mountain,
Well, hold on. But so this
You make a good argument. I don't agree, but you make a good argument.
But let's just take Mahomes out of it for a second. Is there anything Jalen Hurts can do on Sunday that will make you, Kevin Wilde, say Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Josh Allen?
well, 100 touchdowns. If he had 100 touchdowns in a game.
Okay.
Set the record.
Seriously though,
600.
this is why
I just want a path there.
He
Josh
has a
Allen
path.
does
He
amazing
just keeps
stuff.
moving up.
But you're saying,
this is my
yeah,
point. This
you
is
can move
he
him
has
up,
a
but-
path. He does not have a path to get there by Tuesday. The next time we do this.
So what's the when does he get a chance to get there? He's like a title fighter.
Super
that
Bowl,
can't-
another.
No.
I mean,
Another
I
Super
would
Bowl.
say
I don't-
So we'll have
actually
2
don't
more
think
than
they
Josh
won.
and 2 more
there's something
and 3 more
No, no,
appearances.
no.
you would say he's the. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess his
again-
numbers. If his numbers were ridiculous this year, maybe.
Right,
you'd
I
say
think
it
he has a
before.
bunch. This is why I feel like, and I know we have to go, that you are, and this is why I get so frustrated and I say finish the thought. It feels straw-man-y because you're saying, I want him to have his respect. He's one of 7 guys in the league to be top 20 the last 3 years by the players. You're saying, I want him to move up. I want the Super Bowl to matter. He is moving up.
He's behind Baker Mayfield.
Okay, so
Well,
that
that's
I'm not
fair.
even arguing with. If you want to
that's
say
fair.
that I should flip Jalen and Baker, that's fine. So be it. But
And
when
the question was,
but,
what happens when he beats Mahomes?
What?
If
And
Mahomes
then he will
is
probably move up. But I don't think the gap between Mahomes and Hurts is that close. And what frustrates me is I don't think you do either, which is why you won't finish the thought.
I'm a Mahomes guy.
And so exactly.
Beloved in
And
Kansas
so
City.
you want us to do something you as the person presenting it won't do.
I'm asking
which
the
is say no, see, this is what I'm saying.
I'm beloved in Kansas City.
You put on your host hat to ask questions, and then you give a take.
What am I supposed to do?
And you
It's
put
not-
on your take
I didn't
hat
give a take.
while
You're mad at
you
me for
ask-
not giving a take.
I'm gonna give him an answer if we had time.
We don't.
Because I'd say it's Super Bowl, but okay. But if his numbers are extraordinary and they keep winning, they're
Yeah.
like undefeated late in the season, then maybe he moves up to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
If he wins on
Not
on
just
Sunday,
one
he's
win.
the best quarterback in the
To be
league.
the best.
I love ravioli.
Ho tanta fame.
Since when do you speak Italian?
Since we partnered with SAP Concur, their integrated travel and expense platform and breakthrough solutions with AI gave me time back to dive into our financial future. We expand into Europe in 2027, so I'm getting ready.
Well, you can predict the future?
I can predict you'll like that message.
What message? Whoa, hey, we all got bonuses.
You can save for college now.
I don't have kids.
You don't say.
SAP Concur helps your business move forward faster. Learn more at concur.com.
The game we've all been waiting for. Eagles, Chiefs, Sunday at 4 on Fox, America's Game of the Week. Who will be crowned the best quarterback in the NFL? It's up for grabs. A lot of people are saying it on Fox.
We got news too. Are we?
Oh yeah, Jalen Carter will be playing. We're not discussing that, but we will discuss it later, a little bit later. Right now, Bears lose. Danny Parkins quite upset. That's coming up at 5. Caleb was hot until he was not. Trademarked. Here he was post-game.
We felt like we were dominated game, like you said, and we were, in control, up to 2 scores coming out of half, and that mentality is something that we have, something that we preach, and that didn't happen today. And I'm not. It's not a play call thing. It's not anything like that. It's just being able to go out there and execute the plays that are called, and be able to execute them at a high level. And that's something that we take pride in. And today that didn't happen. And
Greg, what went wrong for the Bears here?
Caleb. Caleb is exactly what went wrong. You heard him. It wasn't a play call thing. It's a mentality, all the things that he just spoke to. I had the opportunity to, obviously, we had Ben Johnson on a couple weeks back. And I asked him a question specific to Caleb, not pertaining his talent. We all know his physical attributes. We know what he is as an athlete. But, how is he as a student of the game, understanding what it is that you're asking him to do? And he answered it in a way that a coach would answer it. And here it is.
it'll come on the field in due course. I think what we see and we really appreciate is his approach in this building right now. He's putting in more time and more effort than he ever has. Here's the thing. You see it. He has this natural instincts and ability to him, and all we're trying to do is get him to see the game through our lens so that he can play even faster once we hit the grass.
So I listen to that, and I hear a coach that totally understands he's not there yet. And so he's answering the question the best way he can because he knows we got work to do with this young man. It's not just about his athletic ability, because we saw that on full display early in the game, up until even late in the game. It's when there's no more scripted plays, and we need you to be able to dissect what's going on, read top to bottom, the way that we sit in a meeting room and we talk about it. And when the guys are flying around, it's 11 defenders flying around and it's 10 of your teammates flying around, can you still process the game the way that we're sitting in this meeting room and trying to get you to understand it, the way that we're having you digest it, and you're re-communicating back to us, okay, I understand that. You shaking my head. Yeah. I got it. Well, as a coach, you then need to see that translate. And from the novice fan, and I thought Troy did a great job on the call because he was highlighting Caleb is playing good. He's doing some really good things. But even Troy knows as a quarterback, but there's things that he could be doing that he's not yet. And that could be concerning. And it bit them. The fourth down play before the half, he misses the tight end across the middle of the field. Yep. Or DJ Moore, he misses. Look, body language. He talked about that. The body language started to change immediately. After that, in the third quarter, their first drive, we saw a different version of Caleb Williams, trying to be a little bit more accurate, almost trying to press to get the ball in the spot versus just placing it. And when Troy was talking about what he was missing, I know a lot of people were like, well, he's supposed to do that. Well, you're playing like a robot, because what Ben Johnson is going to tell you, and any young quarterback knows this, look, if it's not there, you have your check down. If it's not there, you have your check down. Well, Caleb was it was like as a receiver, I'm watching him, and the picture was wide open, and yet it was like, I don't want to pull that trigger. I'm going to go to what's easy, what's safe, and to save face so that we can continue to progress as an offense, and I don't be the reason why we stall off. Well, it came to bite them, because once they needed him to start throwing that ball down the field and making those reads, he missed them. Ball started getting a little errant. We started to see his emotions get the best of him. These are the things that a young quarterback has got to go through, and there has to be some tough love. And if you are unwilling to own that as a player, there is no way you can truly grow if you don't own it.
Look, I agree with everything you said. I thought that was well said. To illustrate what you're saying, in the second half, Caleb was 8 for 19, which obviously is below 50%, 98 yards, all right, in the second half. And we have numbers. ESPN said 47% of his passes in the second half were off target. 47%. We have this graphic, I think we'll get it up, where, so this is expected completion percentage of the passes he threw, whether it's the defenders, the pressure that's on the quarterback. 73% of them were expected to be completed. He completed 60%. So you see his differential. Look at the company from this week. I mean, Bryce, God bless him, but obviously had a terrible game and has been struggling in his career. And now Russ, who we feel is beyond his prime and pretty much washed. That's the company that Caleb was in as far as accuracy. So that's not a good sign. I will throw this in, Greg. I thought the second half, Minnesota just really beat up the Bears on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. So in the second half, Minnesota rushed for 85 yards. The Bears rushed for 33. In the second half, the Vikings had 2 sacks. They didn't have any in the first half. So I thought they started physically getting the best of Chicago, in addition to Caleb struggling.
Yeah, and I think that for me, you guys didn't even mention what was the worst part, which is all the pre-snap stuff. Correct. They're so slow getting out of the huddle. Like the coach stops talking to you at the latest at 15 seconds on the clock. You've got to be able to, so even if the coach is talking right up until the last second, you've got to then be able to communicate that in 2 or 3 seconds and break the huddle before you get to 10, especially if you're going to run an offense that's going to have a lot of motion and and they were just you constantly heard Joe and Troy be like, oh, play clock winding down. There was a play early on where Caleb, to his credit, recognized we ain't getting this off, used an early timeout.
Bad. Yeah,
right. I mean, that he had to do was bad. Right. It was. I credit to him for recognizing it, using the timeout. First half timeouts, you can do that. Second half, you can't. The time he motioned a receiver over with 3 on the play clock, it's like, well, that's just going to be illegal formation or the penalty. Like those things. And yes, I am colored a bit, Wilds, by reading that Tyler Dunn article that talked about his struggles last year in processing and learning the offense and about what a curb I think this is going to be for him. This type of talent, to me, is so unique and creates such a high upside that you want to get him the best head coach. I think they did in Ben Johnson of the available options. You want to continue to believe it'll click. But to be fair, for a guy who thought because of his talent, he would walk into the NFL as a top 10 quarterback, and then the guy who was taken 1 pick after him, Jaden Daniels, actually did, he feels behind schedule.
Oh, yeah.
And that's disappointing.
Way behind.
Just quickly, Greg, how much of this is... We don't even have time for this question. Gosh darn it.
What?
It's a very interesting question.
What is it?
How much of it is, you know what? Ben Johnson, maybe you don't run the Ben Johnson offense. Maybe you run the Caleb Williams offense.
That's fair.
Ben Johnson seems like, I'm going to bend 10%. It reminds me a little bit of like Tom Brady Arians, and maybe that's not a fair comp.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They're gonna find it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you. Ooh. Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
Oh, check out the podcast if you get a chance. We've really been trying to drive home our graphics and really super serving our audio listeners.
Yep, we sure have.
And our YouTube channel, how are we doing?
We're doing great. 1.027.
027?
Yep.
Higher, 028?
It's up to 07?
No, 027, Gian. I added
027
people today.
Oh, great. Afternoon
It's
Headlines
3, though.
sponsored
It's
by
saying
Ram
it's 3
Trucks.
of
They are
them,
built
but
to
they
serve.
rounded up.
Xavier Worthy injured after colliding with Travis Kelce. Andy Reid said he's actually day-to-day, which seems surprising. Are the Chiefs in trouble if Worthy does not play?
So, listen, I didn't love your tone a minute ago where you're like, I see this train coming down the track. Someone's going to acknowledge that being without your wide receiver 1 and 2 could be a problem.
Keyword someone. That wasn't about you.
Listen, it's obviously not ideal, and I think Brew's thirst of seeing the light show is going to be delayed. You know what I mean? I do, though, think that, and I think you guys will agree, it is so different not having a player going into a game than losing a player at the beginning of the game. Yeah. And this could actually be a defense of the Eagles' defense. You know what I mean? Like, would they have looked better against the Cowboys had they known going into the game Jalen Carter wouldn't have been there, as opposed to I know that the Chiefs' game plan for Week 1 was Xavier Worthy was the fulcrum of it in the passing game. And so losing him off the bat And you saw it, by the way. Second play of the game, they gave the ball to him. Third play of the game was designed to give the ball to him, and he got hurt. So I think that this is not, in my opinion, why the line flipped from Chiefs -1.5 to Chiefs +1.5. I think the line flipped because the Chiefs looked bad in week 1. This maybe moved it a half point. Do I think they can win without Xavier Worthy? Yes, of course I think they can win without Xavier Worthy. Yeah, look, I generally make a rule, never count the Chiefs out. I mean, it's just not smart business. But, I don't want to, I guess, give away my – I think Philly – I think they are in trouble without Xavier. I don't want to say in trouble like they're going to get demolished, but I think they're in trouble with or without Xavier.
Oof. I'm interested in Tyquan Thornton. If Mahomes can make Tyquan Thornton work, came out of I forgot where he came out of because we drafted him. But if Mahomes can make him work and he had a nice catch, he's a speedy player. Who doesn't really love catching the ball, but if Mahomes can make it work, it's more
listen, I think that deep ball. So I don't think that'll be. I think it's going to be a lot more of what people don't like, which is the short intermediate. I think Juju will be, more involved. Yeah, I think that Hollywood. But also, to be fair, the one part of Philly's defense that I think is super reliable is their linebackers. The kid they drafted in the first round, Jahad Campbell, and obviously Bond, is kind of, taking care of that middle. So listen, he's not going to play this week. It's a big loss.
Live from New York, it's a tour that's going to be in Kansas City on Friday.
That's right.
And because of that, it's not making any sharp observations or criticisms of Patrick Mahomes.
That's not true. We're going to give our own takes.
Not me.
You already did.
I'm pulling
punches. You said he is one game away from plummeting.
I think I said that in the break, though. I didn't say that.
Not anymore.
Also, the show that's been invited, the whole show's been invited to see the KC Current play Saturday night. Now, I don't know if you guys still be in town. The women's soccer team, Mahomes' wife owns a piece of. They invited all of us out.
They're gone.
All right, well, you're in.
I've got football. I got tackle football. I got tackle football.
Debut?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I would come out to that if you would.
No, he doesn't hang out outside of the show.
You don't like seeing us outside of the studio.
Let's see how he
Danny has lived in New York for 11 months, has watched football with me 30
I told
times.
Danny he could park in my driveway. I said I wasn't going to be there.
That's
I said,
true.
You want to come over and park?
You invited him to your house because you weren't going to be there?
That's true. yeah, that's true.
But
we're going to watch football together.
I called Wilds when I was in his neighborhood, and he was like, there's a decent bar about 5 minutes away. You can probably hang out there.
Whoa. I'm not drinking during the week.
I just want to drink. I just want to hang out with you.
I'll drink enough for both.
Wilds does not even say hello to us on the plane.
Yeah.
So when we fly
you're going to have a whole thing. He'll take a separate car by himself, walk through the separate security by himself, wait, and then go sit in his separate thing by himself.
I said hello to him once. He got ticked off.
Diva behavior. I had to do a big thing to get one of my buddies from Boston. I hadn't seen him in 5 years. And we went to the beach and we had a few beers afterwards. I saw him for about 3 hours. And one of my good friends for 4 years. I talked to you guys for 14 hours every week. That's not even counting.
Or you can say hello on the plane.
It's plenty. Third hour, first things first today. Does anyone here have more faith in Caleb Williams?
More would be tough.
After he went 10 for 10. And there was graphics on there from best since 1978. It was great. Meanwhile, Danny's top 10. Did the Bills do enough to dethrone the Eagles? All we did is talk about the Eagles' bad defense. Meanwhile, they gave up 40-some-odd points, so I hope they're not at the top.
What do you mean?
What?
We haven't talked about the Eagles' bad defense. We talked about it for 4 minutes on Friday.
Privately. We were hanging out.
At Wild's house.
But right now, we're dealing with the fallout from Caleb and Ben Johnson's debut. Danny?
Yeah.
You were born and raised in Chicago.
Yeah.
You went to Syracuse. You go back to your hometown to anchor Chicago radio for 7 years. You had high hopes for Ben Johnson and this Caleb combination. Take a listen to your head coach after the loss, and then we'll hear your reaction.
Disappointing way to start the season there for us. We just have a 17-6 lead and then see it go the way it did there in the fourth quarter. We said going into week one that the team that would make the least number of mistakes would win the game, and unfortunately, we were on the wrong side of that.
Danny, the question is, should fans be concerned, but also, are you concerned?
Yeah, I'm very concerned.
Wow.
Thank you for asking. But I was concerned before. You have to understand, Bears fans come by our cynicism for quarterback play and general offensive production. We come by it very honestly. Like, I fall easily. I fell for Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, yeah.
I fell for Jay Cutler.
You're putting Caleb with Mitch Trubisky and Jay Cutler?
What I'm saying
what is happening?
Here's what
Wow.
No.
That's beyond Nick saying, I want to see other people.
I'm not saying that he is that. I'm saying that I have been down this road before with coaches, with quarterbacks. I once saw Mark Trestman kick a field goal on second down. Inexplicable. So it made Ben Johnson's decision to kick deep last night. I was fine with it. I've seen way worse. My point is, I'm prepared for any outcome to this story with Caleb Williams. And I think
that's just because of last night.
It's because of Bears fans' cynicism that has been
so
baked
going
into
this season, you were like, I'm prepared for any
I
outcome.
will project confidence, and inside I'm a wreck. I'm an emotion.
Because you got them winning the division.
No. In the playoffs right. as the second.
But you also said that we know he's good.
We do.
He could be great. So you haven't moved off that.
I haven't moved off that. Listen, here's the thing. You watched that player last night. You can't tell me that he's not talented, that he's not good.
Talented. Talented and good. And I'm not trying to say he's garbage because he wasn't terrible last night.
He was not at all.
He had moments for sure. I'm just saying we don't know yet if he's a good NFL quarterback. We know he's talented for sure.
And I think that those things are close enough for me that it's going to take me a long time to abandon as much talent as he has. Because the guy who can make that throw to Rome Odunze on the sideline, where he can escape the pocket and roll right and throw the ball 150 miles an hour on a dime, that is a high-level throw that invokes Mahomes and prime Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen. That's a 10 out of 10 degree of difficulty completion. So I'm not going to quit on that guy easily. But the guy who misses the layup to DJ Moore over the middle on 4th and
layups.
Well, no, for sure. I'm just saying he was 10 for 10. Then Ben Johnson's like, oh my God, my offense is rolling. I'm going to have a pretty aggressive field goal go for it situation, and he goes for it because he trusts his offense, and it's the first pressure throw of the game, and he misses it by 5 yards.
Yeah, missed that one by more.
And he misses that one by more. It's like, well, what do I do with that? How can the same player make both mistakes, both things? How do you complete the pass to Rome but miss the one to DJ? And it's hard to reconcile. So that's where I'm at on it. I am, of course, concerned. I'm spiraling a little bit.
Yeah.
Borderline terrified. But it's alarming. It's alarming because he did the same thing last year.
Well, you don't sound like, and I get where you're coming from. You don't sound, though, like you're convinced he's good. Because you say, I'm open to any scenario. He becomes a Hall of Famer or he's a bust. It's hard to say bust, but he's just a basic starter in the NFL.
Sure.
Like, you're open to that.
Well, here's the one
that's not good.
Well, here's the comp that I'll make for you that I think for this particular group of individuals, it'll land for you.
Okay.
What if he's Trevor Lawrence?
Now we're crossing streams.
But that's what it is. Trevor Lawrence is not a bust. He's going to make a couple $100 million.
Nick will like this. I do, and maybe it'll be this way with Caleb, I don't know, 2 years from now. I do kind of feel the verdict is still out on, or jury's still out on Trevor.
Because
he was
Trevor
okay
had
this week,
Trevor. Yes, because Trevor. Again, you guys make fun of me. The fact that year one was awful, we threw it on the coach. Right. Year two, we got what we thought was a real coach and a Super Bowl winner in Peterson, and they make the playoffs. They win a playoff game. He gets, late ballot MVP votes, and the next year started really well. You have enough that it's like, oh, okay, there we saw it. There is the guy. So yeah, but I think that if
Trevor Lawrence is not a bust.
But I'm with you. He's not a bust, and I don't think he's great. Now,
correct, but a huge disappointment.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
So you are now open
fair.
to huge disappointment for Caleb?
But so, again,
I think
Trevor Lawrence would be the best quarterback in the history of the Bears, by far. Just to be very clear.
Sid Luckman's family's very
so that's for Bears fans specifically, this is confusing. So I get why you're a little confused, Brew, by what I'm saying. Like, the bar to clear for Bears fans is like Eric Kramer and Jay Cutler.
With respect, sorry, who cares about Bears fans? We care about you, Bears fans. But my point is, is the bar of competing, having a quarterback that consistently competes for the NFC North, it felt to me like, and by the way, I was right there with you, that was locked in, and my faith was shaken a little bit last night. Is your faith shaken in that?
My faith last night, dude, I'm telling you, last night was a continuation of last year.
That's a Ben Johnson conversation then.
Well, it's day one with the new coach. Caleb Williams, I could edit together highlights from last year where you're like, wow, that's a Lamar Jackson play, that's a Patrick Mahomes play, that's a Josh Allen play. And then they also had moments where it was like, ooh, that's a Will Levis throw. Like, you know what I mean? He was a wide variance player last year. And he was a wide variance player yesterday.
I think, Danny, he looks like a great athlete playing quarterback versus a quarterback who is a great athlete. Like
so far, that's
and his
fair.
comments talking about, well, we got out of the huddle, just basic stuff that we don't hear any other quarterback talk about shows that he's. Let me throw this comp out. You guys know I've been doing the cross-sport comps.
Yeah, we love it.
And I'm not saying he'll get, because this is obviously a great.
Miguel Cabrera.
No. This is a great basketball player who will make the Hall of Fame as soon as he retires. Russell Westbrook.
Oh,
like incredible ability, athleticism, obviously some wild things. Now, I think you'd be happy if he becomes the Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, it has 1 year where he wins league MVP.
Right. And but it may not win you a championship,
and
but
no title.
No kind of maybe like Josh Allen was when he was making a lot of the turnovers, things like that. But Russ's problems always, time and score, just the basic things, or being a point guard. Maybe that's I see a little bit of that right now, at least with Caleb.
In what a turn of events.
After one game? Well, I have a crazier turn of events.
Well, you had him going to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
He was on Mahomes Mountain when he was in a Trojan uniform. Great uniform, by the way. And this year, you had him high, but you're starting to sell some of your Caleb stock. And I was never a huge believer in Ben Johnson. Don't get me wrong, he did.
Though you were a huge, that is incorrect.
That's actually right.
You were a huge believer in
Ben Johnson.
And then he had one offhanded comment.
A little bit of hubris in Ben Johnson.
Which, by the way, our entire show would be different today if they hadn't completed that first and goal from the inch line. If they had, that was the most important pass of Caleb's career for our show.
It's a great play call.
And I didn't read the Substack, which has colored your opinion in a different depth than it has for me. I give more credit to Brian Flores' defense for some of the confusion.
Sure.
And some of those passes.
But he carved it last year. Caleb against that defense had his best game.
Well, Brian Flores had new wrinkles to his defense. I just think he's one of the best DCs in the league. And if Peyton Manning says, ooh, that got me, I think it's okay for Caleb. Also, for week one, some of these guys were like, J.J. McCarthy, that's why you got rid of Sam Darnold. Also, Sam Darnold didn't look good. Right decision. Joe Burrow, that was just a fluke game. Tua and Mike McDaniel, that doesn't work anymore, even though we saw him lead the league in yards. That combo with Tyreek.
You love that lead.
And Jalen Waddle. But I'm saying, we've seen Jalen Waddle, Tyreek, Tua, and Mike McDaniel work.
Yes.
And it's like, well, now it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Why? Doesn't one game. I'm more in the one game category. Let's figure it out. But Bears fans, and this is part of the problem, I think. The pressure of doesn't work. Bajent was trending on Twitter last night.
Okay, well,
you guys are out of your mind.
We don't have enough time to unpack what's going on with the backup quarterback
Too much
in Chicago. I'm with you, and I hope it's just one game. To me, though, the guy who watched every pass of him multiple times last year, that was like the 18th game. He had 17
You didn't
games
see
last
a big
year.
jump.
It was the same guy.
All right.
Hold on,
Before we move on, something has to be done here. And I thought, hand to God, did not know what Danny's take was going to be. And I thought I was going to continue my lifelong tradition of being a great friend.
Yeah. You are a great friend.
Because I have had deep guilt over the fact that the audience may remember, they may not. The first time Danny was ever on this show, back way before we ever thought Fox might hire him, was the day that I said Caleb to the Super Bowl. And his friends and folks were like, your guy brings you on a show, you're the Chicago guy, and goes over the top and be like, land grabs Caleb Williams.
That's true.
So I planned today to make it right. And now it seems like you might not even want it. Sorry, I got it. Danny Parkins, officially the FTF Caleb guy. Danny, Danny, the ground is yours, my friend. I am off the hook.
Wow.
Danny is here. He is from Chicago. He is officially the First Things First Caleb guy.
The guy.
No, you have Drake May.
I want it.
Danny,
That's
you're
beautiful.
officially the First Things First Caleb guy.
You are.
I want it. I'm just telling you, I've been left at the altar so many times before.
Listen,
you guys do a lot of great relationship analogies.
Danny, I can press a button right now and drop it and cancel it, or do you want it?
I want it.
He's the Caleb guy.
I want it.
I'm still Trevor. Yeah, I don't want to, but if Caleb comes out next week and has 7 pre-snap penalties, send it to him.
That's on me.
Not me.
Nick is off.
Nick,
don't lose Nick.
Nick is done.
Nick is off Caleb.
He's going to play great against the Lions.
Yes, he is.
On the Vikings side, JJ came alive in the second half. 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Here's the Vikings coach after the game.
There's no way to deny we don't win this game unless JJ plays the way he did in the second half and most importantly kept the belief of his football team behind him. And now we know it's possible. So, you hope to not be in these circumstances very often. But this team's made of the right stuff.
Okay. Danny, your reaction to J.J. McCarthy's debut?
Well, I saw J.J. McCarthy improve over 4 quarters more than I've seen any Bears quarterback improve over 40 years.
This guy can't
drop that. No, he is so off the Caleb Williams.
No, come on.
There's no Caleb guy on the show.
I am the Caleb guy on the show. Yeah. But what J.J. McCarthy did last night was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. He hadn't played a football game in 609 days since the national championship. His $100 million left tackle is out. His number 2 receiver is suspended. And in the first 3 quarters, he looked like how Bo Nix looked at the beginning of last year. Like he should be out of the league.
Looked like how Bo Nix looked this weekend.
But then in the fourth quarter, he joined this list. 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter is insane. Josh Allen, Jada Daniels, Lamar, Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, and J.J. McCarthy in the last 2 years are the only quarterbacks to have 3 touchdowns in a quarter.
This is just, we're just going crazy now.
Hold on a second.
What do you mean?
He did it in his first game.
As a rookie on the road in the division with a double-digit fourth quarter lead.
I thought, hold on, what do you not like about that?
That's just too much. That's just too much.
It's
factually correct, but it's too much.
What?
That you're tossing Caleb aside.
I'm not tossing
Caleb aside. And now J.J. McCarthy's on the graphic.
I'm not tossing Caleb aside.
You really are.
No,
I'm not tossing him aside. Do you see the banner?
The graphic is factually correct.
All right, I'm glad we agree.
If Josh brought that, can you put that back up, Christina, if you get a chance? If Josh gave me that graphic, I would say
better than Andy Reid and the same as John
because it wasn't off of one game. I don't do a lot of one-game graphics.
KW, this is for all these guys. This is one game.
Though.
But the other guys have a resume built up.
He's
it's
not
literally
saying he's
one
as good
game.
as
I am
those
not
guys.
at all.
No, it's just saying.
Yes, it is. That's the subtext of graphics.
No, I don't think.
This would be too much. If
I'm
Josh
saying
gave
it
it
was
to me,
remarkable.
I said, Josh, that's too much.
I just.
That's a Troy special. You know what? That's a Troy.
It is a Troy.
Troy. I'm like, Josh wouldn't even bring that.
Troy's my guy.
Hold on, KW, you don't.
Too much.
I disagree with you on that, and I don't even know that I believe in J.J. McCarthy. But I think that it is noteworthy that in the guy's first game he did something that has since the start of last season. Look at it like this. Let me reframe it. Has only been done 6 total times. Let's just say we didn't. You know what I mean? It's the 7th performance of 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter by any quarterback since the start of last season.
Feels like a lot.
Well, I'm saying, so what did he prove? He proved that there's reason to believe. What an unbelievable debut.
Can I ask you an honest question?
I know it. This is a perfect question from you. I know what's coming. This is a great question. I know it.
I'll be shocked if you nailed it. But
wow.
Do you wish the Bears had drafted J.J. McCarthy?
I think we have to talk about something.
Yes,
of course I'm riding with Caleb.
No, but
I'm the Caleb
who's
guy.
going to have a better career?
Caleb Williams.
Oh, I agree with that, by the way.
Caleb Williams.
I agree. Yes.
So you don't think?
I think that Caleb is going to be a much slower burn than I anticipated. That's what I think.
His ceiling, if he realizes his potential, is multiple-time MVP. It took Josh Allen a long time.
How many multiple-time MVPs are we going to have?
Caleb Williams.
I'm not sure.
He's multiple. Mahomes got some more. Lamar has some more. Josh has some more.
Burrow.
Shaden's got to get one. Burrow's got to get one. Baker's got to get one.
Baker's not getting
Arch Manning, if his shoulder heals, he gets one. There's too many quarterbacks for multiple-time MVP.
Stafford's not going to ever get one. No, Stafford's never going to get one.
Of course.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, he's got
He'll get a sympathy walk out the door.
Good job. Here.
Don't take Caleb away from
News out of Philadelphia and the league office. Now, stay with us here. Jalen Carter has been suspended, but he was suspended and it was time served. So he will play against the Chiefs. Ian Rappaport.
Can I just go?
Go. He got suspended, but he is playing.
I'm just going to read you.
It's confusing.
By the way, I'm fine with this, but I would, and Florio, if you're watching, I would text you instead of doing it publicly, but I'm on the air.
Don't.
I am absolutely awaiting Florio's 6,000-word treatise about how people around the league are wondering if the NFL did this to help ratings or as part of a conspiracy. Because if Chris Jones had spit on Justin Herbert and got thrown out, and then the NFL released the following statement, which I'm going to read exactly. Jalen Carter of the Philadelphia Eagles has been suspended without pay for 1 game for his act of unsportsmanlike conduct in last Thursday's game against the Dallas Cowboys. End of sentence. Next sentence. Because Carter was disqualified before participating in a single play, the suspension is considered to have been served in week 1.
I think that's fair.
And so I
love it.
So I also think it's fine. The only reason I'm saying it is, everybody just be honest with yourselves. If a Kansas City Chief had done something that was suspension borderline, and the NFL sends out a statement saying, the player is suspended for week 2, and he will be playing in week 2. The conversation about it being not rigged, but you know what I mean, about the league office being in the Chiefs' pocket, or they only care about the ratings or whatever it is, would be everywhere. And I don't anticipate that's going to happen here. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you.
I think that is undeniable.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm also glad he's playing.
But I'm happy. Yeah, I'm glad he's playing. And I think it is fair. It reads worse than it actually is.
I don't know. I don't really understand why they have to announce it as a suspension. If
I think it's the only way they can take that much money from him.
The full
to take a
paycheck.
game check.
It's like a CBA thing.
But I also
he's missing the game check for this upcoming game.
This week
so he's playing for free against the Chiefs.
He's playing for free.
This is the spirit of the law rather than the letter of the law, and I like that.
I'm fine with that. I honest to God, I'm fine with it. I would have been fine with him being suspended. I said earlier, I think the fact that a college football player spit on a guy this weekend actually worked against him, like it might have tilted scales against him. But he did miss a game. He should, I want to see him out there, but the optics of it are not lost on me.
It would be interesting to see how the Eagles' defense responds. Or did they actually have problems, or was that just Jalen Carter's absence?
Yeah,
he makes a huge impact.
I think it's both. I think you saw that I think the Cowboys running as effectively was a Jalen Carter thing. I think the Eagles' secondary being bad was not so much.
A lot of time for Dak back there.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
He's a top 5-ish defensive player in football. He's excellent.
Where do you think Jalen Hurts ranks?
On defense, not very high.
Good answer. Where do you think Jalen Hurts ranks?
In top 5?
Where is he? What number?
Mount Rushmore.
Put him on the mountain. Danny Parkins, Greg Jennings, Willie Colon here for Top 10 Tuesdays. Week 1 of the NFL came to a close. It was upsetting how it did.
No, it did. No, it was not.
Okay, it was
not upsetting.
I suppose that is a matter of perspective.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Greg Jennings. But at this time every week, we are going to give my top 10 teams, and then Greg and Willie Colon will say, oh, Danny, that was absolutely perfect, and they will have absolutely no rebuttal. So let's get to the list, and we begin with number 10, the Detroit Lions. This is as low as I can have my preseason Super Bowl team. It's in the fine print. I don't make the rules, I just enforce them, and I guess I do because it's my top 10 list. That was the fewest points the Lions have scored in a game since week 7 of 2023. The interior of the offensive line was concerning. The defense was concerning. Everything about it was concerning. And if they lose to the Bears, they start 0-2 with 2 losses in the division, and then they can fall out of it. But for now, the Lions hang on barely to the 10th spot. At number 9, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. They won a game, and they always start slow, but starting slow with a win, better than starting slow with a loss. Yeah. I looked it up, it makes sense. But when you get outgained by nearly 200 yards against the Browns, it's not like you're going to rise in my rankings. And they were number 6 for me preseason, so they actually dropped, even off a win, all the way down to number 9. Number 8, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here we go. I had them at 10, higher than most people in the national media coming into the year. And I'm going to say, offense is not going to be that good. We're not getting 4 touchdowns and 0 picks from Aaron Rodgers every game, but it was legitimately promising against the talented Jets defense, and I'm assuming that defensive performance was an aberration.
I hope so.
If Jacksonville lights them up this week and the defense gives up 30 points again to Trevor Lawrence after doing it to Justin Fields, we can revisit this. But I'm assuming outlier for the defense, good sign for the offense. At number 7, the Washington Commanders moved up 1 spot, so right around where I had them in the preseason rankings. Their offense looked like they picked up right where they left off from last year. They were the only team in week 1 to have 200 passing yards and rushing yards in week 1. Like, that was against the Giants team that we were like, oh, is the Giants a top 5 front 7 in the NFL? Like, their offense looked really good against a really tough defense. So I was overall impressed with Washington. Coming in at number 6, the biggest jump for me, the Green Bay Packers. Colin had him at 1. That's too much of a week 1 overreaction for me as a guy who had them out of the playoffs. But no team in the NFL made a bigger statement. So this is a huge jump for me from where I had him before the year, which was more of a middle-of-the-pack team. Jordan Love's a streaky player. He started the season on a good streak. Number 5, my Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert. Other than the Packers, the best week 1 showing with what they did on a neutral field against the Chiefs. Justin Herbert's best game of his career, year 2 of Harbaugh. There's really nothing more that needs to be said about this. That was an incredible performance for them in week 1. And this is as low as I can drop the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'll put the Chiefs in at number 4. They can go lower if they lose to Philly. They can go lower if the offense doesn't bounce back. But you open the season, neutral field, lose to the Chargers, weird things happen in the game. You're the Chiefs. You get a ton of benefit of the doubt from me. There was a time when I would have had them at number 1 no matter what happened in a regular season game.
Yes, there was. This is true.
But when they lose a Super Bowl and then you lose this game, I'm willing to drop you to number 4. Number 3, the Baltimore Ravens. Because for about 50 minutes, you looked like you were number 1 with a bullet, and then you Baltimore Ravens all over yourself. It was crazy. I mean, Lamar and Henry and Zay Flowers. It is. They Ravensed it up. It used to be you Clemson the game away. Now it's you Ravens the game away. I have no idea how they let defeat snatch itself from the jaws of victory, but the Ravens did it again. Number 2, the team that beat the Ravens, the Buffalo Bills. Had a legit argument for them at being number 1. That was clearly the game of the week. They were unbelievably impressive. Josh Allen is a deserved MVP favorite off of that game. Huge questions, though, with the Bills' secondary. We'll see how that continues this week, see if the Jets put a big number on the board. But the Champs come in at number 1. It wasn't a great week 1 performance, but I'm going to apply the same standard to the Eagles that I did the Chiefs last year. Until the Champs lose, I'm not dropping the Champs from the 1 spot. So there's my top 10 list on a Top 10 Tuesday. Greg Jennings. Perfection, I assume?
Definitely not perfection.
Okay.
I'm not totally against the list, but I'll highlight the 6th slot.
The 6th slot?
Yeah,
the Packers.
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay,
the Packers. Because I feel like when I talk to you, I have to take it from an understanding and a perspective of, you know what, this is a little bit of NFC North bias that you provide. Even though you talk it
Or
up.
Packer
you
bias.
talk it up.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
no, because you
Hot
talk,
kettle.
you talk
Right.
it up. Well, you didn't even have them in the top 10.
That's true.
So you talked about, oh, well, I moved them up 6. This is the biggest jump of all the teams. I don't want to hear that. They had the best showing. You even said it when you were talking about them. And so for me, when I think about a team in the NFC that took down a team in the Lions that almost everybody unanimously has them at least 1 or 2 in the conference, representing the conference come end of year, and to handle them in the manner which they did, this team was impressive. And this was with sprinkles of Michael Parsons on the field. But we saw how impactful.
One snap in the first quarter.
Yeah, we saw how impactful he was. Jordan Love played a tremendous game. I shouldn't even say a tremendous game.
He started hot.
He was very efficient and effective. He didn't have to do much. And that's exactly what you want when your defense is playing this hot and this strong and making a statement. They made the biggest statement. So, yes, rightfully so, they should have had the greatest jump.
Yeah, for me, it's the Chargers swapping with the Baltimore Ravens. And I know some people are like, what are you doing? There's no doubt that Baltimore has a juice, but Jim Harbaugh has a plan, and Herbert provides the answer. And the reason for that is because elite quarterback in a situational football travels. We saw it. Third and 14, game on the line. They needed a play to be had. What did Justin Herbert do? Take off for 19 yards. Ice the game. And relative to what we saw out of Baltimore, 4th down, need 3 yards, a minute 33 on the clock. Who do you get the ball to? We don't know. You end up punting. That's a problem, especially if you're going to be in the top 5. And what's crazy about that, go back 3 years ago, and I know you remember, Danny, Baltimore Ravens versus Chiefs, right? 4th and 1. Harbaugh runs off the field. Lamar, do you want to go for it? What does Lamar say? Yeah, go for it. They seal the game. How have they regressed to the point where that's no longer a question? You got your best player, obviously the best quarterback this franchise has ever seen, and you punt. And you give it to a defense, by the way, who's getting cooked by Josh Allen. So I'm disconnected and I'm frustrated because the brand of football that we loved for that many a time, there was a complete disconnect between Lamar Jackson and Harbaugh. And at the end of the day, that's bad. So I'm going with the Chargers in a 3-hole. So I like Herbert.
So, I mean, listen, I respect it. I obviously have been a Justin Herbert guy ever since I first saw him throw a football, yes, and I thought it's a beautiful throwing motion. It's a perfect spiral. I mean, how do you not fall for it? And then he finally has this game. My problem with that is, like, I think the Ravens are better. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and defend.
Overall.
Yeah, it's a better roster, better team, more talent. I am not going to defend John Harbaugh punting in that spot.
How can you not?
No, it was insane.
You have three options. You have a 3-headed dog in the offense between Henry, Lamar, and Mark Andrews. You have options.
Well, yeah, and generally speaking, if the game is 40-38, and the idea is I'm going to punt and trust my defense, it's probably not like you trust your defense if the game is like 17-10.
You're right.
Correct.
If it's a defensive game. But when it's 40-38 and you're like, I'm going to punt instead of gaining 3 yards, probably a bad decision, and he would want that one back. I know Lamar said he was cramping, all that. I don't think Harbaugh knew that at the time. It's not enough.
He saw him grimace.
But it's not enough for me to flip those two teams. But hey, I'm just glad that we agree that the Chargers are top 5.
I will say this. I was shocked where you had Detroit because after that showing, because from what I understood, you had them pretty high from starting the season.
Oh, yeah, top 5.
Yeah.
They were top 5 on everybody's
dropped to
list.
10.
Yeah, so the Lions thing for me, the Packers traded away Kenny Clark. The Lions came into that game as a running team, and Gibbs and Montgomery couldn't run the ball. Like, that is an alarm bell situation. Like, it's one thing to, like, run into a buzzsaw, Micah Parsons, Jordan Love had a hot game, but you should be able to turn around and hand the ball off. And they couldn't do it. And so that to me was, oh, wow, like how much of a loss was Ben Johnson for them? And maybe it's just one game, and they'll run
I was going to ask.
And maybe they'll run for 200 yards against the Bears, and then I'll move them right back up. But that was a no-show. It's one thing to lose, but to lose and score less than 14 points when you're the Lions, that was a legitimately concerning performance.
I mean, some are saying they were playing the best team in football.
Yeah, you are saying that.
I didn't say
that.
that.
You are the person who's saying that. And my apologies to the Rams. That was the one I really struggled with. So the Rams right now are number 11. One more big game, and you'll jump right back in there. And you might have control of the NFC West because there's a lot of injuries in San Francisco. Too early to panic? I don't know. We'll discuss for the Niners next. All right, contractually obligated to talk about last night where my Bears had a 11-point lead in the fourth quarter. And then they lost 27-24 to a guy making his first start in 609 games. Caleb Williams was good, and then he wasn't. Here's Caleb Williams on his Week 1 performance.
I think there was a lot of good there. Our communication, I think he was getting the plays in, fast, and been able to get out the huddle. We need to be better with that, and I've been able to get up to the line, make checks, or whatever the case may be. But I think it's a growing process that it's going to keep growing from here. This is the start, but definitely not the end.
Okay, so people, are you the Caleb guy? Are you in? Are you out? I'm a Caleb guy. I'm a Bears guy. But I said earlier, I fell for Mitch. I fell for Justin. I just want to believe that eventually the Bears will have a competent quarterback. But you guys played with a lot of different players of different skill sets at the quarterback position in your football careers. And I want you guys to help me out with something because I obviously have never played football. I want to show you guys 3 plays from Caleb Williams last night. And then you guys are going to help me out. The first play is this throw. He escapes the pressure. He rolls right. And he fires the ball 150 miles an hour to Rome Odunze on a dime.
Great play.
Then he's completed 10 in a row to DJ Moore, who's wide open on 4th down, and he airmails it and hangs his head. And then there was one down the left sideline, wide open. DJ Moore is number 1 receiver, first read, looking at him, wide open, touchdown, easy, airmails it by 5 yards. And we'll show you the plays on the loop. How is the guy who makes throw A, roll right, insane, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, how is that guy missing throws like that? And I am convinced that Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, fill in the blank replacement level skill set quarterback makes those throws to DJ Moore 95 times out of 100, and they miss the throw to Rome Odunze 95 times out of 100. He's the magician who could pull the rabbit out of his hat but can't tie his shoe. I don't understand how that's the same player. I don't get it.
So there's 3 types of quarterbacks. There's a quarterback that can play from the pocket. There's the quarterback that can play from outside the pocket. And then there's the quarterback that can just do both.
Okay.
Those are the elites of the elites. And what you're seeing is a quarterback that's more comfortable getting outside the pocket, playing off schedule, and making tougher throws. It seems odd, but on this is an on schedule, timed throw. He struggles. If you watch Caleb film, he struggles when it's just, Caleb, we just want you to drop back, hit your target. He struggles in that. This is another one.
But isn't that the easier stuff?
You would think it is.
I do think it is.
But for someone who thrives on almost freelancing, backyard football, being off schedule, and not having to now think, because you got to understand, when you are just dropping back, there's a lot that you have to dissect. When you cut the field in half and you get out the pocket and you cut the field in half, now it's just you're reading one guy. You're reading the defender, and is my receiver going to uncover? Got him. Make a throw. Like, it's weird, but the elite guys that you talk about, Brock Purdy, he's not the elite guy. He can do one, probably not both, at a high clip. The elite guys can do both at a high clip. Caleb, he struggles with just the simple,
he misses layups.
On schedule, correct.
Well, I'll say this. Listen, there's enough blame to go around. We all watch the tape. But I'll go back to my time as an offensive lineman. When I was brought to the New York Jets in 2013, I was there to be an anchor and add extra protection for a young Geno Smith, right? And one of the things that was emphasized to me and Nick Mango, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, was get this young man comfortable in the pocket early so he can step in the throws, we can be efficient in the run game, and we can get momentum and rhythm. You're talking about an offensive line who have 2 new additions in Tooney and Jonah Jackson, right? There should have
Andrew Dahlman, 3.
Right.
Yeah.
This young man was pressured 15 times yesterday, right? They had 12 penalties. When you talk about this offense as a whole, as we looked at it, man, I think part of the reason why we saw those inerrant throws and he looked erratic and unhinged is because he never was comfortable, because the offensive line didn't help him. When you got a young guy like that who you know, and we talked about it behind the curtain, you know his game is outside the pocket. But that's not Ben Johnson's offense, right? It's in the pocket. So if you're an offensive line, you have to now take pride for this kid to be who he needs to be for this franchise. We got to keep him in this bubble, and we got to keep him sheltered. So there's a disconnect from that offensive line because they have to have a more heightened awareness. For us to be what we need to be, we got to keep them in there. We got to protect them.
So my rebuttal to that would be, well, look across the sideline and see what was happening there. We saw JJ being pressed. We saw him struggling. We saw the offensive line kind of collapsing and him having a hard time, steadying up in the pocket. It wasn't clean for him to start, but you also saw a young man that progressed and still was able to hit those on-time rhythm throws when they needed him to. When it's needed, you mentioned the layups. You got to be able to make those throws. Early in Lamar Jackson's career, he would miss some of those throws, and which was why we questioned him as a thrower. He improved every single year. We can't see those mistakes continuing to show up week in and week out with Caleb.
And my point is the offensive line's got to help him out. We watched that fourth quarter. Everything's in his lap. Right? You talk about stepping in their throws, feeling comfortable. The kid, at one point, he almost hits his hand on the center's helmet. So, Caleb wasn't great, sure, but this offensive line has to step up and help him out.
17 more. Meanwhile, in San Francisco, news for the 49ers is that tight end George Kittle is on the IR with a hamstring injury. He'll miss at least 4 weeks. Brock Purdy now uncertain for the matchup against the Saints. Simple question here, boys. Too soon to panic for the Niners?
Yeah, I think so. But I said it before, man. They paid a lot of aging superstars. George Kittle just went down with a hamstring. Purdy's dealing with a toe. I know he's a little young. But overall, man, they have issues because who's the next man up? Do you lean on what's his name, Braden Willis, or who's going to be the guy that's kind of move this offense? I don't know what you get out of Mac Jones. I don't know what to think about it. But if you're the San Francisco 49ers, the only thing that you have a bright spot is the fact that you play the Saints and the Arizona Cardinals down the road, right? And you just hope that when those guys clear up.
Got a shot at the Cardinals?
Yeah.
You're Cardinals guy?
Oh, the big Cardinals guy over here. But my point is, you can survive those games, right? But it gets harder after that.
So, yes, you panic. You now internally, of course, they're not.
Players do not panic in the locker room, sure.
Fans, you see a team that you historically have seen when we don't have successful seasons. What looms large is injuries. And now here we go again.
Yeah.
Kittle, we don't have the luxury of goods that we once had on the perimeter and in the skill positions. So now all of a sudden you lose Kittle, who's a huge factor in the run game, huge factor in the passing game, safety net for your quarterback because Brandon Ayuk isn't available. Love what we're seeing out of Ricky Pearsall, but we don't know if the chemistry is going to continue to progress. We hope. And then the quarterback, well, we paid him. So the idea of when you pay a guy is that they will overcome some of these issues that you have. We've seen Brock Purdy in this situation last year, and it didn't equate to wins. Now we're going to have a chance to potentially see it again. It doesn't feel good. It feels like the same music is about to be playing.
Well, this is when you have to knock on Shanahan's door, and you got to draw something up to carry this team for the next 2 weeks.
Well, and listen, and he's one of the 5 best coaches in the NFL. To me, that's why their floor is high if they are even remotely healthy, is because I have such faith in Kyle Shanahan to get production. But now they have lost some of their depth, and they're not healthy. It's a bad combination.
So would you panic?
I don't think a team that won its first game and then is playing the Saints is panicking in week 2. So it's not. I don't panic in week 2 when I have that guy as my coach. But in general, that team is going to, I think, have a very high floor. I just believe in their coach. I believe in their coach that much.
This can be a good thing, but it can be detrimental too, because you lose to the Saints.
Sure, the bottom can fall out quick. Where's the button?
Where's your panic button?
Jalen Carter, he's playing. Xavier Worthy, we'll see. Super Bowl rematch on Fox. All right, we're going to Kansas City. There's a big game. And Xavier Worthy is now day-to-day, which really is a best-case scenario after that collision with a much larger man in Travis Kelce. we're going to be there at Power and Light. I cannot wait. My mom's family's from KC. My wife's family's from KC. I did radio there for almost 8 years. Cannot wait to come back to KC, have some Boulevard and some Jack Stack. The question is, do the Chiefs need Xavier Worthy for the rematch? And I would say they would like to have Xavier Worthy for the rematch, but they need defensive reinforcements that are not coming. Like I don't think Xavier Worthy is the difference between winning and losing this game for Kansas City. Can the Chiefs defense figure out a way to slow down Jalen Hurts in the offense? To me, maybe you disagree, is a bigger piece of this than Xavier Worthy.
Well, when you watch what the Chargers were able to do, and they don't have as many weapons as we can recall right off the top of mind as the Philadelphia Eagles, yes, that would be obviously a concern. But selfishly, I want to see Xavier Worthy out.
So do I.
I want to see
you want to see him out there?
Yes. We're going to get Jalen Carter out there. The league wants to see it. I mean, if
Xavier Worthy had the touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if for me, I think it comes down to, you talked about the depth, but I think when you go back to the Super Bowl, the Chiefs felt like they had the answers to the Eagles' run game and how to stop it. It failed, right? Because if you try to collapse the A gap or you try to collapse the C gap, you saw Jalen Hurts run out and get yards. The biggest issue right now for the Kansas City Chiefs is, what do you do if you neutralize Chris Jones? What happens?
Well, we'll find out from Kansas City. And the good news is the Bears can't lose a game tonight. So that's progress.
It is progress.
We'll be back tomorrow.